all my profane friends. How are you? Having a great day, I hope. Anyway, I thought I'd do a little bit on gang stalking today. Obviously, that's prevalent in my life with the gang stalking freakmasons. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I thought I'd cover a little bit of that. But other people who have been stalked as well, obviously. And I'm going to jump about a bit, give a bit of information here, a bit of information there. You know what I'm like. I don't like to brag too much about Freemasonry. So we'll keep it on point. You know what I mean? My profane friends, for instance. I'll just go through a little bit of my, like someone said I was relentless. But, you know, this is what Freemasons did to me. You know, they've been relentless in my life from a very, very early age. You know, I mean, they're standing in the pub, you know what I mean? This before I knew they were Freemasons, of course, you know what I mean? And, you know, they said, no, not yet, not while his mum's alive. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine that? So they waited for my mum to pass away before they started doing the stalking on me, do you know what I mean? And all what they've done. But that's another story, right? And everyone who is actually in that pub is an active drug dealer or supporting them drug dealers. You know what I mean? They're all changed faces now. Most are the same anyway. They're bouncers or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that's another story. But most of them now, you know, I've got evidence on them. You know, if they ain't sleeping with their fucking dogs, they're sleeping with their kids. Do you know what I mean? Or other people's kids. Do you know what I mean? But that's another story again, yeah. But yeah, so you know, I'll just go through a few of my posts, you know what I mean? And you should, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, I don't post these for nothing. I try to educate you of what Freemasons are. And Freemasons are just habitual criminals, yeah? And when I say habitual criminals, they're like your bouncers on the door. They control the drugs within your town. Anyone stepping out of line, you know what I mean, they're killing them or taking them out. Do you know what I mean? And that's as simple as that. That's what Freemasonry is. And like I said, you can look at it on a global scale, but it's not global, it's your community. Do you know what I mean? And these people have a license to get away with anything and everything because their brothers are police, are in the police force. Do you know what I mean? And we're not talking about them just, you know, you got to imagine it, yeah? These people are groomed, yeah, from a very early age, yeah, to go into the police force for their Masonic gangs. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. You're groomed all the time. You're taking this job, you're doing this. Do you know what I mean? You're going to be working for us, but you get paid well, you can do this and blah, do that. You know what I mean? And you're basically untouchable. And every position in power around the world, I don't care where it is, across the world, you know what I mean, these people are groomed to be put in places of power, you know what I mean? And that's the conspiracy, if you want to call it that, you know what I mean? But your world is your town or your city, yeah? And in every town and city, like I said, the counties are run by the lords, dukes and earls or whatever, because they're related to the people up above, blah, blah, blah. And that's all it is. It's just a Game of Thrones, yeah? And the people who are Freemasons that are run, you know, the lords, dukes and earls that are the top whiffs in the Masonic lodge, yeah, they just delegate local criminals to keep, you know, the lid on all the corruption and keep the chaos going within your towns. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. You know what I mean? You know, the trouble with Freemasons is that they are groomers, yeah, just like Savile. Do you know what I mean? You know that you know they've done it on an industrial scale. Do you know what I mean? You know, they've done it massively. You know, like on an industrial scale, they've groomed the whole world. Do you know what I mean? That's what they've done. Same as Savile did in the UK. He was great for fucking like 50 years, the best of the best. Everyone shushed up, shh, because he's a brother. Because if they'd have grassed him up, he would have split the beans. Can you imagine him sitting in a prison cell all day? He would have been spitting beans, same as Epstein. Do you know what I mean? That's why they're all pretended to be taken out. You know what I mean? They're not really killed. You do know that, don't you? And again, I can prove that. You know, again. I know I go on a bit, yeah, but you know, to get it all compacted into, like I said, Freemasonry is vast, yeah. The stories are vast. Do you know what I mean? It ain't just like a simple, you know, I can get, you know, if you watch all of my videos, you'll know most of what the Freemasons do. You know, I'll give you a story now, yeah. Like back in the day, again, I've said this in my stories. And I can, you know, and I'm not talking about just one story. I'm talking about I've done the research and I can give you multiple stories. Do you know what I mean? On what they do, you know. So as I tell you this story, I'm just going to go slowly down. and then I'm going to tell you what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, today did a post on you know, how many years, right? 15 years now, right? It's been illegal to do fox hunting in this country, yeah, right? And you can get a fine of up to £5,000, right? Or all your equipment, you know, like horses, cars, or anything that you're using can be confiscated, right? Now, within the 15 years, you try and find how many of these people riding these horses, yeah, on fox hunts have got a £5,000 fine, let alone a £100 fine. Do you know what I mean? So all that money, what with just fines alone, that could support communities, yeah, from these rich people that can afford it anyway, but they're not getting fined. They're not getting their horses taken off them. They're not getting their dogs taken off them, because they're all Freemasons. They're lords, dukes and earls, yeah, and they're Freemasons. You see what I mean? That's why, you know, again, you can read it for yourself. You know, every post I do, you know, is related to Freemasonry. And I don't, I might have just done something there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still going. It's okay. You know, so it's not like, you know, I'm posting bullshit. Research it. Do you know what I mean? Because everything I put and what I say is down to Freemasons, and this is why they never get arrested. Do you know what I mean? But they'll go, you know, and the gang that turn up to bash the hunters and all that, that's just criminals. Do you know what I mean? That they hire. What is the same as in your town or your city, and they come, you know, and they try and sort you out, and that's all it is. Hide thugs. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's another story. But this is what they you know, this is what they try and do. You know, they love all this. You know, all the
rule of 100 states.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, everything is related to Freemasonry. You know, and there's not one thing that
is ready for
post
12-year-old kid.
Ain't Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? You know, look, see, you're picking it up. Look at the sun.
Do you see what I see?
And that's the thing, see, but they're doing it all over the place, yeah. You know, and I could show you, like, you know, hundreds and thousands of pictures, you know, that you guys obviously, you know the symbolism.
If you want
back once they started to have too much
get down on my wall, do you know what I mean? Because I can't, you know, like I said, you know, even like in Jonathan Creek, you know, I show you things like, you know, where everything's symbolism. I asked if people spot it. Some people did. Look on the lampshade there, look just below the lampshade. If I can get a better picture of it. Yeah, there's a good picture there, you see, on the lamppost, you see what I mean? But they're always putting it in the centerpiece, you see what I mean? And they keep repeating it over and over again. Obviously, this is Jonathan Creek's house, because then every time they go to Jonathan Creek's house, they can put that in. But it's just like a little Easter egg for the Freemasons, because that's who runs your TV. You know, I've got a perfect picture today. You know, again, you know, later videos I'm going to show you anyway. But regardless of that, so there's my Facebook anyway. So go down and check.
What is black noise?
I was then talking about. I'm talking about gang stalking, right? But this is I was in the gym and I put this in in the barrel. That didn't last 5 minutes before it was wiped off. Do you know what I mean? But I put the square and calm piss in the barrel lift. Do you know what I mean? I am speaking there, won't I speak?
Quick, I get taken down.
Yeah, then I get taken down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll put a Masonic sign in there, yeah. Right.
That is actually run by Freemasons within that gym. You know what I mean? And like I said, the guy, you know, when I was in there, he was talking, he's gone, no, that's it, he's in here now, he's paid his membership, we can't get him out. So there was people actually ringing up about getting me out of the fucking gym, do you know what I mean? You know, and obviously I kept getting Freemasons around me and all that bullshit, do you know what I mean? But that's another story. But, you know, they're constant and relentless, these Freemasons, and like I said, they made me a mark, and they made me a perjured individual, so I've done the same to them. Now, as for them, like I said, when they murder people, right, okay, And this is my motorbike. I took it in to get it repaired, and they did this to my number plate. You see what I mean? Because I record things. I record and take pictures of everything. You see? Because then I'd get stopped by the police. The police would then, because obviously, you know, I'm not like, you know, they know that. Lucky enough, I checked it when I brought it out, you know, before I drove away from the place. Yeah. But the people, I didn't even know who they were. When I get my bike checked, I go everywhere, you know what I mean, out of town or whatever. You know, I never get repairs local, even though they know where I go and follow anyway. But like I said, I have to be very careful because they can damage your car. You know what I mean? They put an acorn in your tank or behind your lights and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Again, that's another story of what they do. But they mark your vehicle. Do you know what I mean? So when you take it in for repairs, that's going to get damaged all the time. Do you know what I mean? And I've got stories on that as well, but that's another story. But they're always trying to cost you money, or, you know, like if that's your workhorse to get to work, do you know what I mean? They're always trying to damage it or mess it up so you can't travel, do you know what I mean, to work. So you then it messes up with your job, you see what I mean? Or you can't afford, because most people who work anyway are just working to live anyway and can't afford fuck all, do you know what I mean? So they'll wreck your ride. You know, whether it's just punch your tyres or whatever, you know what I mean? You just think that's a normal random case of vandalism, do you know what I mean? But it ain't. That's them, do you know what I mean? And they're doing it because they're targeting you. Anyway, that's another story, my profane friends. But when they stalk you, yeah, like there'll be one, like him at the bus shelter here, this Freemason. Yeah, he's the worshipful master, look. Yeah. And then what they do, they have all these little clowns, because he's a drug dealer. He'll have all these little clowns like this, yeah, that'll just jump on the bandwagon to, you know, to help him. Do you know what I mean? Because again, I don't want to get too much, because I'm up to stuff myself. Do you know what I mean? But you know, there's nothing here. People can, you know, they can come here. There's nothing here. Do you know what I mean? There's no evidence left or stored on my premises ever. Do you know what I mean? And even the stuff I've got is backed up like 3 or 4 times anyway. But that's another story. Anyway. Like the other day, a geezer walks into the pub, right? He hands 20 quid to these people. He goes, "I'll buy yourselves a drink." Now, that 20 quid bought 6 people a drink, say, yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to give proper numbers, but all them people on that table then thought he was great and he was brilliant. Do you know what I mean? And that bought all their respect. 20 quid. 6 people. Do you know what I mean? Bought their respect for 20 quid, and they all love him for because he bought them all a drink. But the thing is, that 20 quid was a bag of gear. Do you see what I mean? So it didn't even cost that. It more than likely cost him to buy that respect, I don't know, save 7 quid. You know what I mean? Because obviously you buy bulk and en masse, you know what I mean? So it more than likely cost him all that respect. Yeah, they got all that respect for 7 quid. Do you know what I mean? But he handed over a 20, obviously. But for 2 £10 bags, do you know what I mean? That's what that respect, that whole 6 people that bought respect from. Do you see what I mean? Crazy, isn't it? Anyway, you got the bandwagons, you know, and get the people getting used. But yeah, we should arrest all of them. Do you know what I mean? But they won't be arrested. Police don't investigate themselves. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, the police are part of the problem of gang stalking. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, they, you know, last year I don't know how many times they tried to pull me over. I think it was like 3 or 4 or 5 times. Do you know what I mean? Maybe 6. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And they kept doing it. You know, just doing, you know, obviously I'm not giving them my name or complying or consenting to anything, but they'd send me letters through the post and then deal with the case out of, sorry, it's my kettle, they deal with the case, you know, with me not even being in the court or anything else, and give me massive fines. Do you know what I mean? That's how crazy, you know, how crazy they got, you know, and I got a 6-month ban. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, then I started questioning it every time they were turning up. Then I was going, "Are you Freemasons?" Boom, boom, boom. So now they haven't fucking touched me since. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I'll keep flicking through the letters, through these, but it's all to do with gang stalking, right? And I'll tell you how they get away with, like, you know, where they murder people. Do you know what I mean? But when they murdered themselves, like Epstein's and all that, they get away with it. So the first story I'll tell you, okay, right, is there's a guy going to be hanged, right? Okay, he's been sentenced to hang for murder in London, right? We just say London, it don't matter where it is, it can happen anywhere in the world. This is what they do, okay? Now, so this is back in the day. Whether they can get away with that nowadays, you know, it's a bit harder because you've got witnesses to it and different other things, yeah? Back in the day, you didn't have digital shit, do you know what I mean? It was, you know, so I could, for instance, I could go to like America and be lost, do you know what I mean? And have a new identity and all of that shit, especially if you're going to a community where there's Freemasons and backing up your story and helping you cover yourself. Do you see what I mean? All right, now the story is anyway, this guy's going to be hanged, right? Now he's a Freemason, so what they tell him, they say, right, when we take you out through the door, little door, you got the witnesses in the, like in the galley or whatever. All right, they say what we do, this is the two guards, they say, right, what we want you to do is start struggling, kicking off and everything, yeah? Scream your bloody lungs off and kick and fight for merry hell, yeah? And that's what the Freemason does, right? The two guards then pull him back through the door, right? They then pull a profane person up, right? A tramp that won't be missed or nothing, right? They then put the clothes of the prisoner onto him, right? Gag him, right, and put a hood on his head, all right? So when the guy comes back out and he's struggling, yeah, because he doesn't know what the hell's going on, do you know what I mean? He doesn't know, you know, he don't know that he's getting something done to him till the very last minute, do you know what I mean? Right, so they arrest the dude, whoever this profane person is, yeah, they arrest him, put him in prison, blah, blah, blah. He didn't got a clue what the hell's going on, but he knows he's in prison, but he's in there for a reason. He won't be missed because he's a tramp or whatever, you know what I mean, like a peasant, yeah? So when they take that, so obviously the Freemason, he gets released, yeah, he gets put on a boat, yeah, and then sails to America for a new life, or Australia or Africa or wherever, do you know what I mean, and starts a new life. The profane person gets dragged back through the door. He's got a mask on, yeah, where they put a hood over him. He's been gagged, so he's gone, so he can't say, oh, I'm fucking innocent, I'm not him, I'm not whoever. He's got the same clothes on, so the people in the gallery, as far as they know, that's the same man, then they've got to hang. He's hanged, obviously, and then he's buried, and no one asks any different, because as far as they know, it's the same man that got dragged out. Do you see what I mean? All they've done is switched a profane person for a Freemason and saved a brother's life. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the perks of the jobs. You know, same as the perk of the job is, you know, if you can't have a child, then Freemasonry will make sure you foster. Do you know what I mean? Guarantee it. You know what I mean? They'll make sure that you can foster a child and you'll have a child within your family. That's why they look after the social services. That's why they are, you know, they control it all from the town hall. Do you know what I mean? And then, you know, the people who are signing, oh, you're safe for adoption, is like the doctor, Freemason, police, your Freemason. So all their people are actually given the go ahead to allow people to take that adoption. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, so there's that story, right? Now, again, I'm waiting to get this video now, right? Look, this is what they do: sway the options of the masses with words, right? And this is a propaganda technique, right? Manipulate, you influence, and then you win. Okay, and this is what the gang stalkers do, and that's what the Freemasons do in society within our communities. Yeah, they manipulate you. Yeah, again, it comes back to their grooming. They influence you, whether it's through drugs or through giving someone, you know, buy a drink, you know, here's 20 quid, you know what I mean? And then they win your confidence and your trust because they've got a uniform on. Do you see what I mean? And it's all a game. And they do it every decade, every century, every year, the same old fiddle, the same old game. And they keep tricking you. And that's the fucking get. And that is the conspiracy. Do you know what I mean? As long as they're tricking you. But anyway, so the second story, which I'll tell you about, yeah. And again, I'm waiting for someone to get me this video, and I'll prove it to you, right? But again, there's more stories to it, yeah. But like I said, I'm just going to give you this one again, right? And this is about Jesse James, yeah, they say he didn't get killed, yeah, and he was switched in or switched out for a double, and the person they buried, right, again, you can go to My Bodies where that lady said, that's not my son you're burying there, and all that sort of stuff, yeah, because they're doing it all the time, yeah, that's why they're the Undertakers, yeah. Now the Undertaker, right, for Jesse James, you know, the guy who you know, did all the bank robberies. Yeah. Now he stole £500 million, that man, right, from banks. Yeah. £500 million, right. And he got away with it so long because most of the sheriffs and the deputies or whatever were bloody Freemasons, right? He was a Freemason himself, right? Again, I can prove that. So he was a Freemason. He was in with the governors as well, and he got a pardon. His brother, I can't remember his brother's name now off the top of my head. Obviously, like I said, I just spiel some of this stuff that's there and something, you know what I mean? But I forget stuff. I think it was Jesse James and someone anyway. But his brother got a pardon, yeah? And Jesse James got murdered, right? But pretended to be murdered. And then obviously he moved away, yeah, do you know what I mean, to another different location, do you know what I mean, and lived a happy life living as someone else, yeah. And I think, I can't remember his name, I think his name was Jesse, I can't remember, I'm sorry. Anyway, but you can research it anyway. But the conspiracy is, if you look at his gravestone, yeah, right, the original gravestone, that is, of Jesse James, you'll see it's one of them Washington dick worship ones I show you, all in the graveyards, you know, one of them pharaoh gravestones, you know, the obelisk, is it obelisk? I can't remember now. He had one of them, okay, in his grave site, yeah, and then he got moved by one of his relatives, do you know what I mean, yeah? That's part of the secret of Jesse James, yeah, but that isn't the verification, that ain't, yeah. The video I'm waiting for verifies that by certain things in the video that I've seen, but I can't get hold of it. I'm just waiting for someone to get it to me, and then once they do, I'll do a proper video on it, obviously. But he had connections, you know, in the with the governors, you know, and you know, like the local governors, you know what I mean, the you know, that anyone that was in authority, you know, that worked in that state, you know, the governors that were all Freemasons. That's why he got away. You know, the people who buried him, the Undertakers and all of that, they were all Freemasons, do you know what I mean? And the sheriff that took the, you know, when the coffin was sealed, yeah, right, the sheriff was a Freemason, do you see what I mean? So this is what Freemasonry do, you see? You've got all these perks, right, and people don't realise it. They've got all these perks like get out of jail free cards and all this sort of bollocks, do you know what I mean? They've got it, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's just a couple of stories there where Freemasons have done a double switch on people, pretending they're dead when they're not. Yeah, same as Epstein and all the rest of them. Do you know what I mean? So they're not fucking dead. Do you know what I mean? Again, you could get my video where they took someone. What was her name now? God Almighty, I forgot her name now, but she's in one of my videos again. Yeah, where they took her away. Do you know what I mean? They made her sign her house over and everything else. Do you know what I mean? But again, it was corrupt gangs and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? Freemasons. Again, look, read the story. Look, Elizabeth Sutherland, life changed forever. The years I've lost as a targeted of organised stalking, yeah? And organised stalking is within your community. You know what I mean? And it's done by perverts. Do you know what I mean? That if you do the research on them, you'll find that, you know, they're either sleeping with their kids or sleeping with their pets. Do you know what I mean? They're like dogs and that, you know. But that's another story, my profane friends. But, you know, all it takes, and what they do, they run around, you know, decimating your name, yeah? And that's what they do. They go around decimating your name so people wouldn't have nothing to do with you. Do you know what I mean? And they avoid you because you talk the truth about them. And they don't want that. Do you know what I mean? They don't want people listening to you or you having a voice, yeah? Because that's dangerous for them. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing with it. And that's why, you know, any truther worth his salt that's investigating Freemason, you will be targeted, you will be a mark, you will be a perjured individual, you know what I mean? And you've got to understand that, do you know what I mean? And if you don't, you're in trouble, serious trouble, because they'll manipulate your mind, yeah, and make you think things that are not going on and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? They like you and all the rest of it. Everything, it's all on my forum anyway, what they do. Just go to my gang stalking section, the vomit, and read the stories of other people that have been victims of Masonic ill treatment. Do you know what I mean? But, and gang stalking is explained on there, and again, here it is, look, from their own book, that in the certain knowledge that on the valid of any of them I shall be branded a willfully perjured individual. And that's what they do. Violation, yeah, if they violate their oath, do you know what I mean, or any of it, I shall be branded as a willfully perjured individual, which means basically wherever you go, and I've got this, you know what I mean, it don't matter where you go, you can go anywhere in the world, across the fucking world, they're there defaming your name and making sure people don't like you or associate with you. Do you know what I mean? This is what Freemasonry does, as a willfully perjured individual, you know what I mean? And you've got to understand that, and that's from the Freemasons' own book, yeah. Okay, and I've got the book here. This picture is actually mine out of their book. Do you know what I mean? Again, it's the bandwagon effect. Oh, I'm a drug dealer. Come and respect me. Here, is a bag. Is a bag. You know what I mean? But this is what they do. So it's a bandwagon effect, yeah. And most gang stalkers are cowards and get people to do their own fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? Again, look. Oh, sorry. Again, look. Give a shock. Look, the experimenter. Look, right. See, and then this is what they do, and they keep you as a victim, yeah. They're always keeping you in that flight or fight mode, yeah. And because they're doing it all the time, yeah. And when I say they're doing it all the time, I don't mean they're doing it on a daily basis. They're not even doing it on a monthly basis. You know what I mean? Oh, don't get me wrong. They'll do it for a couple of days and then give a rest for 6. They can give a rest for a whole year. Do you know what I mean? Or do it again, come back in 3 months, and then do it for a day. Give it another 2 weeks off, do it for 2 days, and then have a break for another 6 months, come back, do it for a full week. Do you know what I mean? They're never consistent with it, but they do it enough, right? Yeah, around you and surround you, yeah, that your mind is your own worst enemy. Do you see what I mean? And that's where they get you, because your mind, yeah, gang stalking and mind control, that's where you think the worst and whatever, yeah. So basically what all I've done now, I've accepted it, yeah. I'm never going to get fucking nowhere or anywhere. It's all in my videos, so I'm not going to get into it now, right? Not the videos I've done, I mean the ones I've obviously prepared and done, yeah, about the people here. Oh baby. Anyway, I'm laughing because I know what's in them, but the thing is, I could wipe the smile off so many people's faces in this town, you wouldn't fucking believe it. Do you know what I mean? Only the gang stalkers, by the way, and the Freemasons, do you know what I mean? The ones responsible. But, and they're going to get, anyway, no, but what they try to do is get everyone to stab you in the back, yeah? Don't matter what it is or who it is, they try to get people to stab you in the back, so you've got no friends, you've got no support, from anyone. Do you know what I mean? You're isolated. They try and isolate you. Do you know what I mean? From any support network. That's it, right? So this is what Freemasons do, and they keep you divided because then that conquers you. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they do. They do that daily to everyone. You know what I mean? Everyone, yeah, who's not a Freemason is a vomit, a victim of Masonic ill treatment. And it don't matter if you're being burgled, robbed, you're going up against a judge, you're going up against the police, or any other fucking thing they deem fit to put against you, because that's all Freemasonry, the whole shebang. Do you know what I mean? Again, there's, I haven't experienced it, but I know people have, like direct energy weapons and all that. I keep away from that. I don't know, not even if I have been hit by direct energy weapons. I don't think I have. I don't think, even though I know it's possible. But again, everyone's an experiment. Do you see what I mean? And they do experiment on you. Do you know what I mean? Because again, it's all about population control. And this is again where, you take your children to hospital and you get them knocked out. You've got to trust that doctor and everyone in that room. What happens if they're all like into satanic ritual abuse, or they're all witches or warlocks? Do you know what I mean? In a coven, but you don't. You just see the doctors. You just see the doctor's coat. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy Savile with his cigar and his, you know, and what have you. But he's working the morgue, shagging the bodies. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I should have said that. I'm gonna like stop my video now. But do you see what I'm saying? You know, you've got to trust these people. I could show you so much. You know, I've done like who do you trust? You know, there's a lot more I've got to do on that as well. You know, where people are. You know, where it's police. Well, obviously you all know about the corruption of the police and what they can do. You know. Blah blah blah, because they're looking for that vulnerability of it, you know what I mean, of you, the profane, you know what I mean. You're all game, yeah, you're all free to, they can get you and pick on you as much as they want, and there's no comebacks, do you know what I mean, because you are not Freemasons, you are the hated profane, yeah. What they actually call you, and they actually called you this when you know, like what's he, you know, with the little moustache above his lip, what was his name, you know? What's his name? You know, during the old World War II, yeah. And the people he killed, yeah, they were called lulls, yeah, L-U-L, yeah, which is life unworthy of living, yeah. And that's what Freemasonry look at you, because you're profane. You are lulls, yeah, L-U-Ls, yeah, lulls, life's unworthy of living, because you're without the temple, yeah. All right, now again, contract stalkers, yeah, right. Now I've had some of this, right, yeah. Now again, look, pet thefts, yeah, mutilation and murders on your pets, yeah. This is another thing they fucking do, yeah. I'll give you a little story on that, look, right. I got again, you know, let's just say we had a guinea pig, right, yeah. Someone come round, right, and then picked the guinea pig up with him, and they squeezed it, yeah. And I wasn't too sure if they did or not, you know, when you go, I don't know yet. But the next day, the guinea pig died, do you know what I mean? And it had all internal injuries, yeah. But they did it because I was a mark, do you see what I mean? And I don't know, the person who came round was a witch or a warlock or whatever, do you know what I mean? But I let them into my house because of someone else I trusted they were with, right? And obviously that was a woman that did it, but that was before I was up on women Freemasons and women warlocks, do you see what I mean? So I wasn't sure about it. But anyway, the guinea pig died and they killed it. I know they fucking did, do you know what I mean? I'd go on a lie detector with that, and I bet you they wouldn't survive it because they knew they killed it. I'm fucking 100% sure they did, do you know what I mean? And I've like had a guy round, you know, again, didn't know nothing about it. This is like, you know, before I knew anything, you know, where it all clicks into place, obviously. And he threw something on the floor and that, and I didn't know what the fuck it was, yeah. And he actually threw drugs on the floor. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one about like, you know, a bag of heroin or anything like that, as pill. You know what I mean? Like pills, like a couple of pills and that. And I thought, you know, fuck. And I knew, you know, sort of clicked into place, you know what I mean? Because I did, again, it was one of them things. I did he do that or not? I weren't too sure. Do you know what I mean? I weren't too sure. It's only later on that it all clicks into place. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, it's all one big fucking hell. What the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm swearing. So, you know, like, so he knew my little ones were running around, do you know what I mean, this person, and they threw drugs on the floor, do you know what I mean? By drugs, I mean these pills. I don't know what the pills are. Ain't got a clue, you know. I don't do drugs, so I don't, you know, I wouldn't know what the fuck, whatever anything was, yeah. But he knew whatever he threw, he knew the possibility of my child picking that up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, so don't think your children are safe with these people. Remember, they do satanic ritual abuse. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But this is like not all the time. You know, this isn't like relent. These are just happenings that have happened over a period of time of people I've let into my house. Do you know what I mean? At particular times, yeah, and they've done this. Do you know what I mean? But I've never put it together. Do you know what I mean? I did, this was before all kicked in, you know, and boom, boom, and then I've like looked back on it all and think, fuck me, you know, some of the bad luck and shit like that, and that's just clicked into place, and the people that are my stalkers have come into the, you know, into that, you know, obviously by association, and then I know why they're doing it, like, you know. You know, but there's loads of people, you know, Google it, look, organised stalking, do you know what I mean? It ain't there for nothing, do you know what I mean? By the way, I think Big Boy's a Masonic thingy as well. I'm sure he is. I've done research on him, because obviously if you look at him, look, he's got Rose Croix's fucking red and thing. I'm sure I've done a research on him. Anyway, that's another story. So, you know, I've got many stories like that, you know. And, you know, like driving to Scotland, you know, and this car's come up. I've still got the registration, of course, you know what I mean? Like I said, everything's been marked, tracked and filmed, do you know what I mean? For like fucking decades, but that's another story. So yeah, if you are part of my stalking and you followed me down to fucking wherever, you know, or up north or whatever, you've been tracked, you've been marked, do you know what I mean? Same as every other fucking little pervert as well, but that's another story. You know, and like I said, but you've got to use tape recordings, you've got to use film, do you know what I mean? And I mean hidden cameras, fucking everything, do you know what I mean, to bring these people down. You know, they're into Freemason that's gone into the lodge here, you know what I mean, that I ain't filmed or tape recorded, do you know what I mean? Not fucking one. You know, and I'm talking about years, not fucking weeks, days, fucking months. Do you know what I mean? My aim has been in years. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you've got to do. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it fucking takes. Do you know what I mean? You can't do it within a day or a month. You've got to be dedicated. You know what I mean? And I mean solid, dedicated. You know, you know, I can't. You know, say everything, because then obviously they know what I'm up to. And that's the thing. You see, I can't say everything. You know, there's videos on it. Don't worry. I've got plenty of videos to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't fucking do on the event of my death, of course. You know. But yeah, I have no intentions of committing suicide or any other fucking thing like that. Do you know what I mean? Because like I said, a geezer again, you know, got drowned in a river or something, you know, and I'm not going to say too much, but that was put down to suicide. Do you know what I mean? Because the police that attended the scene were all Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? Even though well, I'll just say I know he was murdered. Do you know what I mean? But that's what they like to do, make an accident. It cleans things up, innit? It was an accident. There you go. There's no murder inquiry. Where a murder inquiry stays open for life, doesn't it? Until the murderers are caught. Do you see what I mean? But if you can make an accident, then that's it. Do you know what I mean? You know, you're not. Do you know what I mean? It's not fucking. And again, if they murder me, it goes straight to the door of the lodge anyway. Here, do you know what I mean? You know, they'll have people up on the fucking roof, banners, and a food store. You know, for months. You know what I mean? All through the summer, of course. Do you know what I mean? And there's other things what I could get into. But like I said, they can knock my door in, do whatever the fuck they want. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing here for the police to get. Do you know what I mean? Nothing. You know what I mean? I'm way up on them fuckers. Anyway, but here, this is what your stalkers are. You know what I mean? That's what they like to believe. But this is what they really are. Little sheep. You know what I mean? There's your little worshipful master there. Look. But that's what they are, little gang stalkers are, you know what I mean? The little sheep following around the little fucking, you know, the thing is, you know, with me, it's a case of, you know, and I mean, they're fucking, you know, I could go into some stories, you know what I mean? And, you know, oh, baby. Well, anyway, let's go fucking, but yeah, they do gaslight and follow me about, you know, like I said, you know, they'll do stories like, you know, I'm getting to some good bits, by the way. Stick with me, do you know what I mean? Hopefully I'll get some good bits. But if they ain't been good already. But you know, it's like, you know, I can go anywhere, and I've done it in the UK, and within a minute, you know, or an hour, they're there. Do you know what I mean? Selling their story, you know, this, that, and the other. But that's another story. I'm trying to think where I was going with that now. Gaslighting or something there. But no one see me. Do you know what I mean? This is no one see me. I've got no like communal friends that I see. Do you know what I mean? There's no one. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, you know, I can see what I mean. I can't see what I mean. I could, you know, if I come out with you go fucking wow. Do you know what I mean? If I give the full story, but I can't. You know what I mean? Because you don't take the shovel away from people that are digging their own grave, do you? Do you know what I mean? You allow them to keep digging. You know, if they don't know, if the Freemasons around here don't realise they're fucked, they're dumb. You know what I mean? Believe me, they are big time. You know, and I don't care if you're a fucking you know, an ex-doorman, whether successful business now, whether you're a fucking, you know, a sci-fu teaching fucking people fucking kung fu, how to protect themselves or fucking whatever. And that's a little hint there of what fucking I know about some people around here, do you know what I mean? But your basics is that they're fucking doormen, they're corrupt criminals, do you know what I mean, yeah? And they control the town and the city, right, with an undertone of being good, and they're fucking not, you know what I mean? So anyway, again, look, here we go, look. Organised gang stalking, also known as gang stalking, cause stalking, organised vigilante stalking, stalking by proxy. And again, this is where we get into it, yeah. Look, where they look, noise campaigns, sensitising. See, they sensitise you to certain things, yeah. Now, when I used to busk on the streets, yeah, and I don't mean singing, you know, I like to sing about the moon and a doona and a tuna, about the sky so blue and a tea for two. You know I love you, I love you too, baby. Now, I never sang. Well, you can see why, can't you? But I used to do like balloon twisting and magic, you know, and shit like that. But what they used to do is come up behind me and pop balloons. So I think it was a gunshot or something like that, you know. So they always think like, so they try to get you think that you're going to be shot, you know, and things like that. This is how they do noise deprivation to you. You know what I mean? You know, and I've had guys walk past me. Every time though, it's always, you know, I've had my child with me. Do you see what I mean? When they do this shit, you know, like one time I'm at the shops and the geezer come out and he shows me the inside of his coat and he's carrying a gun. Yeah. You know, and I went through a crazy, you know, I was going to get shot or fucking whatever, you know what I mean? Because your mind plays them tricks, do you know what I mean? In the end, I just, oh, fuck you. If you're going to kill me, you dumb cunt. You know what I mean? I've got enough on tape anyway with you and your pervert mates. And when they all sit there in the cells, like with their hands in their head, yeah, and their missus are on the outside, you know what I mean, with their kids, and they're sitting in their cells and they're going, fuck me, I'm now looking at life to conspiracy to murder, do you know what I mean? You think none of them are going to all be grassing each other up? They'd be like fucking canaries, mate, you know what I mean? That's the thing with it, you see, because a lot of these perverts ain't going to hold up under a police investigation. Some of them will, you know, but most of them fucking won't, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. And it's the canaries that are the weakest link for them, do you know what I mean? You know, I mean, they were when they got caught for heroin and all that, they were grassing each other up. You know, it's in their fucking statements. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, what are they going to do when they get up for murder? Like, you know what I mean? They're going to keep quiet. No, they're going to be grassing each other like little fucking canaries. You know what I mean? You know, the perverts in them will rise up from the lodge, and no fucking Freemason fucking little go-to is going to fucking help them. Do you know what I mean? They know it and all. People wrapped up in murder conspiracies talk like fucking, you know, canaries. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's another story. Again, look, virtual neutralite and destroy the victim using people from all backgrounds and vocations to harass and track 24/7. Yeah. Sometimes organising lethal vehicle accidents, which is true. Poisonings, again, they will, you know, they'll spread like stuff on your door handles of your car or on the, you know, the outside of your handle on your house, because you're always using your handle. And then what you do, because you're always putting your fingers to your mouth, do you know what I mean? Or you grab an apple to eat an apple, you're then putting that on the apple, and then you're eating the apple and then poisoning yourself slowly. Do you see what I mean? There's all different little techniques they do, you know. They get asbestos, put it in your fucking air vents, so when you're driving along, you're breathing in asbestos. Do you know what I mean? But it's very slight and very subtle. Do you see what I mean? But that gets stuck in your lungs, you get cancer. Do you see what I mean? These are the subtle things that these fucking guys do. And believe me, they do it. They're criminals, yeah? You got to understand that, you know. Go look at my, you know, my criminal gangs, you know, which is to do with Freemasonry and who controls your towns and who controls your cities. Do you know what I mean? And they control them well, mate. You know, and like I said, each lodge is just you know, a mafia associated families within that lodge controlling the town, and they got the say of it. Do you know what I mean? They say what get built, what don't get built, blah blah blah. You know. Electronic harassment, home invasions. Again, home invasions can be just the police coming through your fucking door and just searching your place all the time. You know, shit, things like that. Do you know what I mean? You you know, ignorant doctor diagnosis. Yeah, again, I've gone through the doctors, you know, the Freemasons, they put a little mark on your fucking, so the doctor's reading your medical report, he sees the mark or the comment or whatever it fucking is, yeah, and straight away they know you're a target, yeah, so they'll fuck your meds up, do you know what I mean, or whatever it takes to, you know, just to make your life a little bit more miserable than it already fucking is, do you know what I mean? I could go more into that, I suppose, but I've done posts on it. Yeah, no, that'll do for that. That'll do on that side of things. You know, and I could go on, you know, where I know they've done that. Do you know what I mean? Misdiagnose people on fucking purpose to make them fucking miserable. But that's another story. Again, they can make you, you know, make you sound like you're mentally ill. Do you know what I mean? So they can then section you, which is what they love. Do you know what I mean? You know, make shit, you know, make you delusional, you're paranoid. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, even to the, you know, even schizophrenia, you know what I mean? Because, like, if you just heard me, I'm saying, oh, they're trying to kill me and shit like that. But they can, you know, they show me flash of the gun, popping shit around me, you know what I mean? Like a gun's going off and things like that. That ain't the only time, you know, I've got multiple times, you know, where there, you know, there was a guy cocking the gun in the car park, you know, up Yarmouth, do you know what I mean? But I had a camera on him, he didn't know that. He knew there was 2 helmets on the bike, so he must have thought, well, where's the other person? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, the scenario was, though, I got him on film anyway, but he was cocking the gun in the car park, you know what I mean? Pretending it was jammed. Maybe it was jammed. I don't fucking know. Do you know what I mean? But he was there, you know, like I said, cocking the gun. Whether that was, again, a theatre, you know, they call it theatre, whatever it is, you know, whether that was true or not, I didn't give a fuck, you know, go on and shoot me, you twat. I've got you on camera. You're the one who's going to be the first one arrested. Do you know what I mean? And then everyone else who I've got talking about me being murdered or put away for 30 months, that's another one they've fucking done, you know, talk about, you know, or knocking me off my bike, oh, all sorts of shit, you know, what they've done, you know, and said, you know, what was the other one? There's so many, you know, I could go on and on and on, you know what I mean? Like, it stood in front of me, you know, it's all theatre work, do you know what I mean? Like, wait till we get them kids away from him, then they're going to get him. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and obviously they got my kids away from me. They did, you know, with you know, them being in, you know, certain people around my ex-partner. But I don't want to get into that anyway. But again, that's all done and manipulated by them. You know, my girlfriend, my ex-partner, actually sat on the sofa and said, you ain't got a clue what the plan is. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what the plan is. So that was all fucking planned. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, I went away for fucking 3 months, right? Yeah. Okay, very fucking clever, these fuckers, anyway. So, and like, my daughter spoke to me on the phone, yeah. I said, don't ask me, go ask your mum, yeah. Now, this is how hard on they had for me, do you know what I mean? As I get to the gate to go home, yeah, they rearrest me, gate arrest me, and put me away for another 3 months, yeah. This is all Freemasons that did this and manipulated this, right? Put me away for another 3 months, because I turned around and said to my daughter, don't ask me, ask your mum, because she asked me a question. I said, well, don't ask me, go ask your mum. They did me for an indirect contact with my ex-partner. Do you know what I mean? But they knew what they were doing, because it was all coming, because the person who was hanging around at the Freemason, this fucking anyway, I'll better get off the subject. But anyway, that was all Freemasonry based, okay? And again, it was the police that were Freemasons working for this other Freemason, because he's well established in the town, got the money and all the fucking rest of it. So I went away for about 6 months, do you know what I mean? On because just made up false charges, and it was all fucking planned, do you know what I mean? So yeah, let me just cool down a bit here, baby. Right, so let me flick another page. So basically, you know, and because they got power within pubs and clubs and all the rest of it, and the narrative, and they got all these little fucking people that think they're right respectable, even though they're fucking destroying their lives and their families with drugs. Yeah, they've got the narrative. Do you know what I mean? You know, and you can't do nothing about it. What can you do? You know, a lie will travel faster than any truth. Do Do you know what I mean? But you've got to be aware of that. You know what I mean? Because if you in, they're going to crucify you and make you, you know, think you're crazy or mad or what the fucking hell ever. Do you know what I mean? Like I had Pete, you know, like again, you know, the same people. It's always the, you know, they either mention the names of the persons, right? So that's fucking stupid. They use their own fucking cars, right? Or they do the street theatre, you know, like instead of, oh, he planned the murder. Do you know what I mean? So then I think like, oh, he's planned some murders before, so he is planning to murder me. Do you know what I mean? But once you're up on it, you go, who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck anyway. Plan to murder me. I don't give a fuck. I got you talking about it. You know what I mean? You're going to be up for the fucking conspiracy. And like I said, you know, the best way to bring people down, yeah, and this is why, again, this is why I don't give a fuck, yeah. If they want to murder me, go for it, yeah. The point of the matter is, yeah, they've got to deal with the conspiracy of it, yeah. And like I said, when they start grassing each other up, and you know, the Freemasons in this town, yeah, the scumbags, the little perverts that have followed me and done all what they've done, right, yeah. Remember, I'm psycho, I'm crazy, so this is all shit I'm talking. But anyway, the point of the matter is, yeah, is that half of them have already been like are real perverts. Believe it, mate. You know the shit I've got on them, perverted to the fucking hilt, right? Anyway, that's another story. I'm going off track here. But you know, so yeah, you'll have conversations like they do theatre with you, you know, and you'll have your friends and whatever you know, that'll stand there. And like they'll go, yeah, he didn't arrange that murder or this murder, so you think that person's like arranging murders and all that and shit, you know, crap, you know what I mean, whatever. But they do other things, you know, like you know, a friend of mine, you know, again I say friend, you know what I mean, I say that in technical fucking whatever terms, but you know, he's saying that like I can't even go into this one really. No, I won't go into this one. So anyway, yeah. So look, the larger the group, right, the more toxic, the more your beauty as an individual you have to surrender for the sake of the group's thought, yeah. And this is what Freemasonry does, yeah. It damns you to the Gao-Tu. But remember, I'm a Gao-Tu MD, yeah, which is a grand architect of the universal, which is, you know, their go-to, and then I put MD on it, the Masonic demise. So I'm the go-to MD, I am, you know what I mean, the grand architect of the universe of the Masonic demise. Anyway, so if you ever see that, that's me, baby. You will do things in the name of the group, yeah, like you'll be a gang stalker, a drug dealer, a paedophile, and a rapist. Did I get all of that? I don't know. Anyway, they would never do on your own, and they wouldn't do fuck all on their own. But because of their, you know, like another time, you know, like I'm standing near the bank, right, and then there's fucking retard looking at me, you know, give me the hard man stare, right. I'm not hard enough, and you know, I don't give a fuck, you know, I know how to throw a few punches, hopefully, and throw a little headlock here and there, you know what I mean, get someone in a headlock, you know what I mean. But you know, I'm not hard enough, but these people have got real hard men, you know, boxers and fucking all the rest of it, you know, that can do severe damage, you know what I mean? And they, you know, they do that. That's what they have. They have people that, you know, are boxers, and they're the ones who do the doors, you know, boxers. They don't want people who can't fight looking after doors, you know, and shit like that. But that's another story anyway. But anyway, he's staring at me and that, and I'm staring back, and then I'll go walking past him, you know, like twice, I think. Again, I've got like kids with me, do you know what I mean? But it's that fucking, you know, they try and impose that fear factor on you, you know, and intimidate you. But I weren't intimidated anyway. But after I'd done that, I moved away. And then this other geezer come across his worshipful master fucking nonce piece, I suppose, you know what I mean? Go, well done. You just earned yourself a Masonic little badge, do you know what I mean? For fucking doing a nonce move, you know what I mean? But that's what it is, you know what I mean? They do that sort of stuff, you know, like intimidate, you know, but, you know, like I said, I went to, you know, on holiday to fucking, I can't remember where it was, up north somewhere anyway. Again, it was me and a few others. But again, they followed me there. Do you know what I mean? I went in the pub and the geezer's by the bar. You know what I mean? Another geezer come walking in, you know, drug dealer, of course. There's always drugs. Do you know what I mean? Always to do with drugs. And he go, why didn't he come up here himself and do blah, blah, blah? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, you ain't very happy to be here stalking me, are you? Do Do you know what I mean? But again, like I said, evidence is good with cameras, isn't it, and film. But you know, they followed me there, you know, and then again, I was in the place where this, you know, it was one of them. I can't remember what it was. It was something anyway, like a holiday thing, yeah. And again, they go, wouldn't you smack him in the jaw and then run away? Do you know what I mean? But again, see, they tried to spoil my night. Do you see what I mean? You know, because then I'm thinking, oh shit, they're going to smack me in the jaw and then fucking run away. Do you know what I mean? That sort of shit, you know what I mean? Again, but they followed me there. Do you see what I mean? Paid to get in where I was just to intimidate me and try and ruin my night. That's what they do. You see what I mean? Well, I thought, go on and go for it. As soon as you do, I'm going to go back to Yarmouth. I'm going to walk in the pub with a hammer and stick it in his fucking head. Do you see what I'm saying? You know, that's what's going through my head. Do you know what I mean? And shit like that. Do what you fucking want, but you better get it fucking right, because I'm going to go do. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, that's another fucking story, you know. I could tell you another, you know, so many stories, man, you know, about these people. But, and the thing is, if I did that, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about one person or nothing. I'm not talking, you know, I'm talking about doing it on an industrial scale, you know what I mean? If I go for it, and no one will stop me, no one will do fuck all. It'll be my decision, and I'll do it because I want to do it. You know what I mean? Because I've had enough of it. You know what I mean? Because I know that it's not just going to end with me. You know, I've got other family members. Do you know what I mean? This is generational. These families have been handed down generational, yeah? I'm fucking nobody. These people, yeah, they've got all the money in the fucking world. They're dealing all the drugs in the fucking world. Do you know what I mean? All in my community. Do you know what I mean? They're the ones that are respected. They're the ones that have got every fucking thing. They've took fucking everything from all sorts of people in this town, and no one even fucking realised it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm talking lives, man, you know? But anyway, that's another story. I better calm down a bit, innit I? I forgot what I was talking about now. I did talk about thingy, didn't I? How they murder people and then changes it, swapping, like the body, again, the body snatching, you know, all through the years, the body snatchers, you know, they're all to do with Freemasons, you know, buying the bodies, the parts and that. And like I said, when you know, obviously the World War II, when you got lots of bodies, that's a big Masonic ritual, do you know what I mean, of death, do you know what I mean? And if they make the profane fight each other, regardless of what country you're from, you're not fight, they're the ones manipulating, playing, you know, playing, you know, this, that and the other, with people's lives. That's a big power base, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing is, you've got to think about it, all these people that are playing war with the profane are all Freemasons, but none of them are being killed. So you got, you know, like there was 5, I think there was 3 during World War II and 5 during World War One, or was it the other way around? Something like that, I can't remember. But it come to 7 for the G anyway. But again, you know, these people are not answerable to anything, are they? You know, like Bush, what happened to him? He didn't go anywhere. Tony Blair, he went into Thatcher went into the Falklands. Do you know what I mean? All of this, yeah. And for what? Do you know what I mean? All these different people, you know, they call them heroes that went to war. For what? For 2 or 3 people so they could steal the gold and the oil and all the land and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? Look, anyway, look, this is what it's all about. It's about sabotage, torture, humiliation, emotional terror. And that's what it's about, emotional terror, yeah? Because your own mind is your own worst enemy. Do you know what I mean? Now, if they want to kill me, I've accepted that, yeah? I don't give a fucking shit. Go for it, you know what I mean? Because I just remember that 2 billion years that I wasn't born, I was happy. I didn't even know nothing. Do you see what I mean? So if death's the same, then that's good. I'll welcome that, you know what I mean? Because this life with Freemasonry on my back has been fucking hell, do you know what I mean? But that's what they wanted, you know what I mean? I say it's hell, but no, I still had a good life though, do you know what I mean? Because I'm like a happy-go-lucky dude anyway, do you know what I mean? And most things don't faze me, you know? So regardless of what they do or say or fuck all else, do you know what I mean? I'm still a happy-go-lucky dude, do you know what I mean? And I don't get it down, you know? I get angry, of course, and I've got a lot of emotion what runs in me, and I've got a lot of fucking anger, you know? And that's why I don't drink anymore, you see, because by now I would have gone out and wiped a few out, do you know what I mean? I think severely, but that's another story. You know, and like I said, if you listen to my other videos, these most of them are being called out as perverts are either sleeping with their children, right? And I know this is I got this, trust me. Or they're sleeping with their fucking pets. Do you know what I mean? What the fuck's going on? And these are the respectable people within our community. Yeah, right. My whole illusion of the people I come up with, has been blown out of the water. Do you know what I mean? Because I've researched it and I've done it. And like I said, your communities, you ain't got to go around the world, halfway around the world to find an Epstein, or down into London or the BBC or the Anglia or anywhere else to find your Jimmy Saviles, because they're in your fucking town, mate. Everyone's town, everyone's city. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, let me keep going. Gaslighting, we've done that one. See, they do talk about me. They talk about anyone who's a truther, because they don't want people listening to you. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? There you go. You can pause that and read that at your leisure. You know what I mean, my profane friends. But it's like that geezer. I can't remember. He was a bloody idiot. I've had a few on my wall. Do you know what I mean? Normally I don't pay much attention to it. You know what I mean? Like I did that e-babies. Do you know what I mean? So what I did was, what was it? And with an e-baby, you know what I mean, like that, yeah. And he searched e-babies up, and it come up with a load of baby stuff. I don't know what he's fucking, but he said I was looking at e-babies, and then was going, oh, I'm a pervert and all this sort of thing, you know what I mean. But then obviously he's been doing it to everyone, if you look up e-babies, you'll get the stories, about 9 posts on it, but again, he got found out, he's still going around now today, yeah. His mum was in with the MP, the Prime Minister or whatever, and he goes around like he's fucking, a truther and all this shit. He's been on the newspapers as well, but that's what they do, you know what I mean? They try and harass you and try and put you down, do you know what I mean? Where, it don't matter, anyone can say anything about me, I don't give two fucking shits. F you all, do you know what I mean? Say what you got to say, come and have a lie detector with me, do you know what I mean? Come and have a lie detector, you can ask your questions and I'll ask my questions, you know what I mean? Whether you're slept with a dog or a child or anything like that, you know what I mean? Your own child, let alone anything else, you know what I mean? Come and have a lie detector with me, I'll welcome it, you know what I mean? Put it straight. But no, they won't. What they do it behind your back, yeah? Calling your names, calling you this, calling you that, and it don't matter. That's what they do. And like I said, it's a death by rumour. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they're looking for, a death by rumour, I'll leave that there, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Right, if I go here, like that. Boof. Right. And again, you can go to my forum, which is Zazon Boney Baby, and go to my Gangstalking section, which is here. Right, Gangstalking Vomits, yeah, which is about Freemasons, and it's got the stories, like the Gangstalking victim story, about what goes on, and it'll tell you what they'll try and do to you. Look at Derek and Kathleen Ryder, yeah. Joe Sterling, I know him from Glasgow, yeah, I spoke to him. I don't know, I've got to see if he's still about, actually. I want to contact him again. Brian Harvey, again, stalked by gangsters again, because he knew who was running the clubs. Again, you'll have to go to my videos to see what that's all about. And James Todd, I used to speak to him. He was stalked by Freemasons. And then you got Second Family, blah, blah, blah. But the Perps Tools, yeah, right? Look, and this is it, murdered and killed by a rumour, yeah. And this is what they do, look. And what they try to do, they try to get you killed, right, by setting up rumours within your community, like you're a rapist, a nonce, a pervert, fucking whatever. And then people in the community, you'll always get the odd idiot that'll believe it, where the Freemason will sit them all safe and sound. He started the rumour, but then you get a profane person who will look like a hero, that'll do the dirty work for them while they're sitting indoors. Do you know what I mean? That's another thing I always think. I think, well, who is going to do the dirty work, yeah, for these noncy little Freemasons that are perverts within the town, looking like respectable businessmen with their, do you know what I mean? Who's going to do that? Do you know what I mean? And that's what I wait for, But I ain't finished this post anyway. But as you can see, if you go into it, you know, and I do a lot of explaining to it, you know. See, look, a whole gang jailed for a campaign of attacks against, you know, and then again, all falsely, look, being accused of rape, beaten to death by a gang. See, this is what they do, yeah. And the thing is, you're going to get the person that some of the people that are doing it, yeah, and they're already triggered to be a weapon, all right, because the Freemasons have already perverted him, yeah, or her, or whoever, yeah, right, because they've multiple raped boys and girls or whatever, yeah. So when that boy comes to age, like 18, 19, 20, 21, yeah, he's already sensitized to rape, yeah. So when someone say, oh, he's a rapist, he thinks back to his childhood where the Freemasons have raped him, yeah. And that's enough to send him to go kill that person. Do you see what I mean? And I can give you a couple of demos, you know, again, I've got stories on it, yeah. My own personal stories where people have gone after people like that, yeah, and had them killed. Do you know what I mean? You know, but yeah, go to it, you know, look at it. This is what they're looking to do to you. You know, they will do this to you. If you're a truther, yeah, speaking out, especially against Freemasonry, this is what they'll do. They'll make rumours up against you. You know, again, I've got stories coming out of my, you know, where people contact me, yeah, you know, where I've helped people, and I mean a lot of people that are being gang stalked, yeah, and harassed, whether it's in their workplace, yeah, where they're trying to get them lose a job so one of their Freemason friends can get the job, yeah. I've got girls as well, you know, like women who have contacted me where in their neighbourhood, you know, it'll be a certain people, again, it's all to do with communities, you know, where they try to you know, saying like she's weird around the kids and things like this, you know what I mean? I've got all this sort of stuff, you know. Some of you obviously know who I'm talking about, but I don't mention names. I don't need to. I've had permission, I can, but I don't, you know what I mean? Some do, some don't, and that's what I'm not here about. You know, again, on the other scale of that, I've got where a community, and that's local to here as well, you know, and again, I've got a few stories on that because I collect stories, do you know what I mean? Because they all involve Freemasons, do you know what I mean? But, they, you know, she's got, you know, wanting to commit suicide, blah, blah, blah. But you've got people, you know, and you know what it's like, people are physically on there, go on, do it then, this, that, and the other. And then she does it, and they all fucking disappear. Do you know what I mean? But I screenshot it all, do you know what I mean? And I, you know, and I get into it, you know what I mean? And I capture them. But, you know, but the people go because again, the person who doesn't like them or the community that's, you know, targeting that person, they will set safe. They've only all they have to do is just start the rumour, and that's it. And that's enough for people to jump on the bandwagon, think it's clever, yeah. And it's not just people, you know, you're online, yeah. You're not just got adults doing it. They encourage the kids to do it. Do you know what I mean? So you've got like, say, a 9-year-old kid saying it, yeah, being the same, but the person who's reading the fucking comment think it's coming from an adult when it ain't. It's kids, do you know what I mean? Like 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids doing it, you know what I mean? Thinking that's all fun, do you know what I mean? Not realising the damage it's doing to the victim, do you know what I mean? And this is what I mean when I say they, yeah, they, this is what I mean when I do a capital they, look. You know what I mean? These in the hoods, look. You see them, look? With their hood on. You've got the pyramids, look, and the all-seeing eye. See what I mean? There it is, look. The level, the rule, and the mall, look. You see it? I don't know if you can see that. See? Oh, yeah. Know your symbolism, my profane friends. Anyway, that's another story. See it, look, on that rail, look, I just want to show that. You see that, look? The diamonds and the square and calm piss. It's all there, man, all there. Oh, yeah, you want a job as a gang stalker? You fucking clowns. See, they think they're good, they're not. And this is the thing, when they gang stalk, yeah, they do not forget, they do not forgive, and they certainly, you should expect them. I'm not saying you expect them every day or every week or every month. Like I said, it's intermittent. You know, for instance, they leave you alone for 2 years, right? You get married, yeah, you're having a lovely hot time, you know, whatever, with your wife, maybe you have a kid by then, I don't know. But what they'll do, they'll try and seduce your wife. Or if you're a woman and you're the target, they'll try and seduce your man. Do you know what I mean? Anything to split you up and so you'll have a marriage breakdown. Do you see what I mean? Even better if they can take your kid into foster care. Do you know what I mean? And that's done. Fucking done by them. Believe it, you know. And then you got, you know, like they try and get the social services on you and then try and get the child away from you. Do you know what I mean? That's what they fucking do, mate. And that's all done by an agenda and done by design, you know. And that's just, I've just simplified it just by, you know, just what I said there. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. Do you know what I mean? I should hit it like that so you can see it better, I suppose. But, you know, and that's what they look for, you know. Like I said, you can live happily, yeah, with someone, do you know what I mean, for 2, 3 years, 4 years, but they'll come back to you. Oh, let's go see what we can do to fuck them up again, and then bring you down again, you know, with a divorce or an affair or with drugs, you know what I mean? Send, you know, so they'll keep you on a lifetime of drugs, do you know what I mean? You're targeted that way as well, where you become a money bank for them. And also, if they want to murder you because of some past deed one of your relatives have done, right, you know, whether that's walk off a battlefield or betrayed them or something like that, you might pay for that sin in this decade what happened centuries ago. You see what I mean? They never forget fuck all. And what they'll do, they'll get you on drugs. Do you know what I mean? So you know, you're you know, they've got one of their generational fucking whatever on drugs, and you become that money bank for them. Do you know what I mean? So that's what they believe, you know. So, you know, and the thing you have to do is turn it around. You've got to ring, you know, Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and whatever the fuck that says, yeah, you've got to do that back on your enemy, yeah. Use their own tools against them, like recorders, like fucking cameras. Do you know what I mean? I remember, you know, when I picked up on it, yeah. You know, I'd get tape recording. No, I mean, I got, you know, again, I could go into some of it. It's all in my other videos anyway. But, you know, I mean, this, I'll just say this Freemason shop, yeah, because all shops are run by Freemasons, yeah. I'll just say I'm in the shop with the Freemasons, yeah, and someone's tape recording me, do you know what I mean, and asking me questions about someone, yeah, right. But the person who's asked me questions, I met the brother-in-law, the step-brother or whatever the fuck at a wedding, you know what I mean, shook my hand. I didn't give him the pass or nothing, so then he squeezed my hand really hard and then I went after him, but everyone pulled me back because he's protected Freemason, right? But little did he know that the person betraying him, right, he's there for that person, yeah, he's helping them, but he was the one that was being betrayed by the person he was fucking helping. Do you know what I mean? You know, that was, I don't even, you know, there was someone like literally sleeping with someone on their hen night. Do you know what I mean? That betrayed him, not me or anyone, you know, the person he was helping. You know what I mean? Again, it was the same people that are, you know, that are part of the stalking things. You know what I mean? You know, like I said, once you know and you know, you fucking put it all together. But, you know, that's how stupid these Freemasons are. You know what I mean? So he was actually helping the person that had betrayed him. Fucking madness. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be Masonic brothers as well. Do you know what I mean? Where you're not supposed to convert and all that shit. But I didn't know if his other brother was a fucking Freemason, do you know what I mean? But maybe that's why, you know what I mean? But there you go. But I know the other two were Freemasons and they were best friends for fucking ever, do you know what I mean? Bubba doo, bubba ba ba ba. It's a bit of a hint there, you know what I mean? Bubba frets. Anyway, yeah, there you go, babies. I'm trying to think, you know, I'm trying to think of anything else I could, you know, sort of tell you, you know, but like I said, you are, you know, Freemasons are enablers, you know, and they're grooming your kids every time, you know. You go, oh, let's have a nice time at the pub, do you know what I mean? But they're all in the fucking pub. Do you know what I mean? And they're the influencers within your community, you know, and they're the ones you go. I'll tell you, you know, I've said it before. If you're unsure, go to a popular nightclub, yeah, and just get in the toilet and sit down and turn your tape recorder on and listen to what the conversation's about. It's always about cocaine this, cocaine that. Do you know what I mean? And you'll hear nothing else but, you know what I mean? And this is what they do smear campaigns, you know what I mean? And it's used to devastate and humiliate you, do you know what I mean? And they'll keep going on relentless and regardless, even though they're the perverts and the nonces, do you know what I mean? You know, like I said, you know, most of the ones of that, the main stalkers, what I call the main stalkers, yeah, are all being called out as perverts. Do you know what I mean? I mean, literally fucking perverts. Do you know what I mean? And if they ain't sleeping with their pets, they're sleeping with their own kids. Do you know what I mean? That's people that have been involved with stalking and harassing me, you know? And I'm talking about people that are, you know, physically supposed to be my friends, but they're talking about murdering me and putting me away for like 30 months in a fucking jail cell. Do you know what I mean? Combined by the fucking police. Do you know what I mean? How's that work? You know what I mean? So, yeah. And it's all to do with Freemasons. And this is what they do, you know. Here again, look, see, the Queen killed by Freemasons, but the police ain't going to investigate none of this. Not a fucking iota. Of course they ain't. You know what I mean? Royal Heads, Freemasons, look, you see. Now I wonder, you know, I don't know who the McQueen is, yeah, or or Mark Quincy is, yeah, right? I don't know who they are, whether that was one of them who was hanging out the window, do you know what I mean? See, this is the thing, look, gang stalking terror. Am I being followed? Well, I knew I was being followed, yeah. So, you know, I thought, go on, get on with it. You know, far as, you know, and I know, as far, I don't know if there is now, when there is trackers on my van now that, you know, he had, again, I don't want to get too much into it. You know, like one time they pulled the tape off at the bottom of the van when I was in like Western Supermare, you know what I mean? And shit like that. You know, he pulled the fucking, you know, the tracker off the bottom and left the tape hanging and all the shit like that. But that's what I'm saying, whether that is now. But I know they got it on my phones, but I don't take them off. I don't give a fuck. Track me. Good. More people that track and follow me and say little stupid comments, that's more evidence I gain every fucking day. Do you know what I mean? I love it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there's no terror in me being followed. Do you know what I mean? There's no terror. If you're going to kill me, kill me. I don't give a fuck. You're the one who's got to deal with it when you're sitting on your bed in jail, you know what I mean, in fucking on the cells, looking at a fucking life conspiracy to murder, you know what I mean? Again, look, right, I'm now showing you again that perjured individual, look, right there, okay, right, so, again, this, I forget which book this is now, sorry, what was the book? I forgot now. I mean, penalty of violating any of the, then have my throat cut across, my tongue torn out by the root, and my body buried in the sand of the sea at the low water mark, or a cable length from the shore where the tide regularly ebbs and flows twice in 24 hours, or the more efficient punishment of being branded. See what I mean? The more efficient, you see. Where is it? More efficient punishment of being branded as a willfully perjured individual, void of all moral worth, right, and unfit to be received in this warranted lodge or in any other warranted lodge or society of Masons. You see, the society of Masons, you see, because that's what they are. They're a society within a society, but people don't realise it, and they're a nation of people that lives within nations of people, if you get what I mean, yeah. So they own all the land, they own all the sea, and they own all they own all the land, they own all the air, and they own all the water, yeah. And it's always their laws, and that's why they get away with the fox hunting. Do you know what I mean? Because they're the Lords, Dukes, and Earls, and they got the money, yeah. They own the land that they run the horses over, and they own the fucking police because they're all Freemasons. So you ain't going to get a Lord, Duke, or Earl arrested for fox hunting. Do you see what I mean? But anyway, let's go on. Who prize honour and virtue above all the external advantages. Look, see, again, look, this is what I'm on about. They're a rank and an army and a nation of people, right, within our fucking people, within us, the profane, yeah. Right, look, a society of Masons, see, it's a lodge or society of Masons who prize honour and virtue above all the external advantages of rank, you see, the advantages of rank and fortune, see, this is what they get, rank and fortune, yeah, money, see. So help me God, and keep me steadfast in this my great and solemn obligation of an entered apprentice Freemason, you see. And then obviously you can read the rest at your leisure. You know what I mean, my profane friends? Right, well, if you guys can see this, then let me make everything clear. I never did get any kids started doing drugs. See, this is what they say. They say, oh, you're a drug dealer, you know, you're dealing to drugs, even though they're the ones dealing the drugs to the kids, literally, right? Again, I've got that fucking on tape, but that's another story. I never did get any kids started doing drugs. I'm not a paedophile. Again, another one they fucking try and hamp you on, because then, you know, being a paedophile, like I said, you'll come across a dude they've abused, yeah, a child they've abused who's grown up, yeah, and they use that person as a fucking tool. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and they'll go, oh, go on, then you do it, yeah, and he'll go do it, and they'll just melt into the fucking paperwork, and he has to do the bird for it. He'll do the life sentence where they don't even get it, even though they've encouraged it and, you know, been at the centre of it to encourage that happening. Do you see what I mean? But that's it, because obviously when the perpetrator that did the killing gets questioned, he doesn't grasp, because he's already been trained to keep quiet, and you don't grass your friends up. Do you see what I mean? But he's done it on his own anyway, off his own back. So who's he going to grass up? Oh, they told me to do it. Oh, they influenced me. Do you know what I mean? No one does that. Do you see what I mean? And they fucking know that. And then they just melt into the background, even though they've caused that death and that killing, yeah? And I've done it again. If you read my posts, yeah, I've got evidence on that as well, where it's been done and hammered, you know, happened in this town, you know, to someone who's got called a rapist, got killed sort of thing. And then, you know, 2 people went away. So 3 people lost their lives. You know what I mean? The person who got stabbed and the 2 people who got sent to jail for it. Do you know what I mean? But that was all because these certain people, again, one of the policemen was spreading rumours around that he was a rapist. Do you know what I mean? Because he went with that policeman's daughter or whatever was going on. Do you know what I mean? Again, I've got stories like that. You know, it's fucking madness what these people do, I'll tell you. Horrendous, as it says here. Horrendous. You know what I mean? You can read that yourselves anyway. See what they do, look, for working in the Borden Milk Company for 50 years of service. Then put it in my linked in my account and put it in writing underneath it. It was, don't try getting a job at Borden. They stole the tools. This is what they do. They steal your work tools, anything that stops you work. And you know what I mean? In my truck, they fucked up my vehicles. Another thing they do, you know, they'll burn your vehicles out. You know, you try. I'll tell you what, try starting a taxi company up. That's a good one. Try starting a taxi firm up in your town, yeah? You see what turns up to come and get you, you know what I mean? If you can get the car moving and motivated round the town. You see, you can't, because they own the taxi firms, do you know what I mean? You try, you can't. That's just an example, that is, anyway. Fucked up my vehicles, harassed me at my house every day. They threatened to kill me over and over. They screamed at me, moved my town over and over, and threatened my life every day. Told me that they shot my friend Adrian and then spit in her, and I can't read the rest. But this is what they do to you. See what I mean? There's people like loads of people like this. You know what I mean? See, look, this is some of the people like I've helped over the, I've got more obviously I could get into, but right, look, Jesse Rissell, he was always being targeted. Do you know what I mean? Good man he was, yeah. They got bus. Freemasons were waiting for me. I've been slandered. See, they always slander you and threatened from state to state. Now these scoundrels are saying I'm a damn regional child molester. Liars. Where are all the damn victims then? Did anyone hear me? Where did the horrible crimes happen at? Where are the victims? Slander, murderers. That is why I will continue to stand up for the free souls and Freemasons. See, so we stand up. Again, he disappeared for a little while and then he come back like about a month ago when I was speaking to him, and now he sort of disappeared again. So I don't know where you are, Jess. I'll have another go at you, see if I can get hold of you. But this is the thing. This is what they do. They slander you all the time, yeah. And people are waking up to it now, obviously. But the thing is, like I said, we're divided. Like the people that are on against fox hunting, you shouldn't be against fox hunting. You should be against Freemasonry, because they're ones that are allowing that to fucking happen. Because the police are working, the Freemason police are working for the Freemasons that are on the back of the bloody horses. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. And the people who are allowing it on their land are the Freemasons, the Lords, the Dukes, and the else. So you need to come together, stop fighting so many divided, conquered, like people who are worried about flat earth. Forget the flat earth. If you want the answers to the flat earth, see the Freemasons, because they've got the answer. NASA, run by Freemasons. Why you keep going on about space and all the rest of it? They run it. Who's putting the chemtrails in the air? Freemasons. They're allowing it because they run all the governments. Do you see what I mean? So you ain't got to go, if you want your answers and things to stop and the corruption, see your Freemasons, because they're running it all. It's a corrupt system. Do you know what I mean? Everything's corrupt. I'm going to interview a guy in a couple of days, and I'll show you he's homeless and he can't get anywhere to fucking live. You know what I mean? It don't matter where he go, they keep telling him to come back, to his original town or whatever. But when he comes back, they say, well, you've got no connections in the area. You need to physically have a connection in the area to get a fucking place. Do you know what I mean? But that's another story. I'll do that on the interview anyway. But again, look, this is Jesse here, look, you see? So you can read that yourself. I'll leave that because you can just pause it. Last time I was taking car registration down at the lodge car park, the toiler came out, showed me his dagger and told me to fuck off. You see what I mean? Oh yeah, you're right, Dave. That's David, yeah. That is true. And again, yeah, if you go up to the lodges, yeah, and you do, they will come out and they will threaten you. They'll beat you up. They don't give two monkeys, do you know what I mean? Because they don't care. They go away, in jail. They're safe anyway. You know what I mean? And again, look. Drug rapists, liars, drunk flugs, crackheads, crack dealing maggots, who kiss whom's ass the most, you know what I mean? And that's what they are. People are waking up to it, The trouble is most of the profane people don't know it, what they are, what they're capable of, Let me just plug a thing in for a charge, just in case I'm running out. Confront these gang stalkers. Most of them are your family or your friends. You have all the grounds to stand on, so stand on it. None of you have done these things to anybody. We are the ones who will stop this torture. We, the people, will spread the word of gang stalking, you see. But the thing is, you see, again, it's all that divide and conquer. The only gang stalkers that have the ability to gang stalk and have the numbers to physically gang stalk or harass you, are within your own community, and them people are Freemasons. And I don't care where you are across the world, you're being harassed and stalked as a community because it's Freemasonry. Do you know what I mean? And that's as simple as that. But I'll let you read that again because I don't need to, see, all their time harassing and following one person. Do they not have anything better to do? No, they ain't, because they use you or us. I'm not, obviously, they use people, right? Regardless of who it is, especially if you're a truther, yeah, they use you like they're kings, queens, gods, and all that. This is what they play. They play Game of Thrones, yeah, right. So you've got kings in the lodges, you've got queens in the lodges, you've got serfs and all that. The profane, us that are without the temple, we're all the jesters. You see what I mean? The clowns, the lulls, yeah? The life's unworthy of living because we're without the temple. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. And once you learn what they think of you, there's no going back. Do you know what I mean? You can't, you're all lulls, yeah? And none of you actually fucking know it. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean? How, you people that are on drugs are on drugs by design. Do you know what I mean? And I'll show you, again, I can show you a big divide on that where they're not, there's a few, like I said, there's a few that, have passed away on drugs and shit like that, blah, blah, because that's part of their, their, what they associate with, say, yeah. And not, like I said, not all drug dealers are bad or fucking, nasty or anything. They're just trying to feed their habit, yeah. But the people keeping them in that system are Freemasons because they become a money machine for them. And then they, they can drive around and buy their daughters' cars and all the rest of it, and their sons' cars. You know what I mean? Their kids are driving cars before anyone else, and good big flash cars as well, because they've got the money and their businesses are afloat. Not because they're good businessmen, because they're pouring good drug money into it. Do you know what I mean? And there's no, there's no end of the money. Well, you know what I mean? Like I said, they're all in a, into that, like I said, that their families, they're a syndicate of families, and they're all, there to keep that power within that system of whatever town they're in, like the five families ran New York. Well, you don't need to go to New York or fucking Washington or anything else. You've got families within your towns, within your cities that are crime lords and working as a syndicate to keep that fucking money and that flow of shit going into the fucking lodge. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. And them lodges, every Masonic lodge is a syndicate for well-established families, and that's lords, dukes, and earls. And it don't matter how much they come across. That's the illusion. Like I said, Jimmy Savile, yeah. He groomed the whole of the UK, but the Freemasons had done it on an industrial scale, and have groomed the whole planet. You know what I mean? They've groomed the whole planet. They ain't doing it just like Jimmy Savile for 50 years. They've done it for decades and centuries, calling you the profane, and you don't even know about it. Do you see what I mean? They're the groomers of everything, mate, Again, look, here you go. Hello, I believe I am the most targeted, slandered, defamed and gangstalked person in America. Well, I'm definitely the one in the UK. No one could beat me. I've been gangstalked for over 3 decades. Do you know what I mean? 3.5 decades, or 35 years maybe. Do you know what I mean? But that's another story. You can read that on my forum anyway, but I haven't gone too much into the gangstalking, you see? Because like I said, you don't take the shovel off little noncy perverts. You know what I mean? You let them dig their grave. Ha ha ha. I remember this drug dealer, you know what I mean, standing outside, like, obviously he's following me, yeah, you know what I mean, tracking me, and he's a skinny little twat, you know what I mean, and obviously the people behind him are, the heavies, you know what I mean, he's a fucking nobody, and he's like flicking his head left to right to try and see where I am, you know what I mean, I'm standing at the alleyway, then he spots me. You know what I mean? But these are like little clowns, you know what I mean? But he's buying this, buying that, looking like he's a successful businessman. But you're not a businessman, because all the money you got from your drugs and your fucking destitution, remember, he had people working for him, by the way, that are fucking, all on the drugs. So by the time they got payday, they'd spent it all on the coke that he gave them. So, they were working next to nothing of coke what he was buying. Do you see what I mean? So it's slave labour anyway, the people that were working for him. So they get their wage. If it was like, let's just say it's £500 a wage, all of that would have been spent on coke that he bought for maybe 200 quid. Do you see what I mean? So do you know what I mean? So his outlay was 200 quid. He's making all that money on top because they're doing the drugs, and working for him. So he's, it's all slave labour. Do you know what I mean? That's going, and I'm not just talking about him there's a few, do you know what I mean? That have got, like people working for drugs because they don't need paying much. Do you know what I mean? They're on slave labour. Do you know what I mean? Fucking madness, mate. But anyway, you can read that bit yourself. I'll flick another page now. See, they want to drive you to suicide, yeah, or worse, where you will do, you'll do the mass shootings, do you know what I mean, and shit like that, because you've been fucking harassed and intimidated, do you know what I mean? But, sorry, it's late today. What is it? I don't even know what the time is. It's 4:30 in the morning, so I am a bit late. So sorry, but like thingy there. But again, if you can read, everything's the same all the time. Do you know what I mean? See, look, they will make you a paedophile. Do you see what I mean? It's the same thing. It's the same. Go to my forum, yeah, and you'll see it's the same tactics, because people that are criminals, yeah, are habitual. Do you know what I mean? And they don't change. Like if you're a paedophile, you're going to keep noncing kids, and you're going to go into a job where you can nonce kids. Like you're going to be in a children's home. You're going to want to be able to control social services, or you're going to be a foster carer, or, all of that shit. You see, that's where paedophiles go. They want to run in the schools, yeah, and look for the children that can be displaced or abused. Do you know what I mean? That's why paedophiles go into that shit. Do you know what I mean? You ain't going to get a paedophile go into a bank to rob a bank. Do you know what I mean? He's got no interest in banks. He's interested in kids. So he's going to go, his workplace or his work area is to do with kids. Do you see what I mean? And that's what they do. If you've got a drug dealer, he's going to want to deal drugs. Do you know what I mean? He isn't going to work in a school environment or anything else like that. You know, boom, boom, boom. He's going to want to be, you know, where he can sell his fucking drugs. An armed robber, he's going to go to a bank. You know what I mean? And he ain't going to go sell drugs because he's an armed robber. He likes going in the bank, putting the gun at the, you know, under the bank teller's nose and say, gives you fucking money. There's no money in it now, so you don't get much bank robbing, you know, because it's all going obviously thingy. But they've now, you know, the bank robbers are now turned into the major drug dealers. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's happened there. But we know that story anyway. You can follow that yourselves. But you know, a burglar will burgle. A burglar won't go rob a bank, and a burglar won't deal drugs. Do you see what I mean? Because each criminal has his own set of, you know, whatever that may be. You know what I mean? If you've got someone who steals cars, he'll just steal cars. He won't burgle a house. You know what I mean? He won't go into a bank. He'll steal cars. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with crime. You know, they're habitual. Same as Freemasons. You know what a criminal? They're habitual. They can't stop themselves, you know. Anyway, what's this one? Oh yeah, this guy here, this is what he does. He wears a camera round his neck, like that. You see? And there you go. And here we go again, look. See, as a man of honour, yeah. That's a fellow craft Freemason would rather have his Does anyone remember what it is? Eh? No? Well, I ain't telling you. Work it out. I've told you enough times. Think about it. It's only hands, heart, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Or torn out, you know what I mean? All of that sort of stuff, yeah? Anyway, Gary Owens, again, look, rock star to targeted individual. And that is it, my profane friends, on that side of it, okay? That's the gangstalking, okay? So I can go like, for instance, gangstalking, I'll go to G, look, right? Like here, look, right? Now this guy, yeah, is like save a knife, what is it? I forget now. I'll get to it in a minute. I'll tell you what it is. But look, scandal of child slave drug runners. Yeah, more than 100 children as young as 12 and as disposable as big pens are arrested after being lured by gangs selling heroin and crack cocaine. You see what I mean? And why ain't we got people jumping out on the people dealing drugs? Do you know what I mean? And holding them there for police to be arrested. Because again, the narrative is controlled on that. You know what I mean? Because they want you, again, I'm not, you know, that's a distractional thing. Yeah, all these paedophile hunters are a distractional thing. But why is there no drug dealing hunters? Ask yourself that. Because people who control the narrative, yeah, of anything and everything, yeah, are all behind the same thing anyway. You know what I mean? But here we go. Look, hundreds of children are being enslaved by drug gangs. Yeah. Criminals recruit them from children's homes. Who run the children's homes? Masonic lodges. They're lodges. You know, look it up. And outside city schools to flood suburban areas with heroin and crack cocaine. Do you know what I mean? Youngsters are known as their masters' bics because they are seen as disposable as the pens. It's essentially modern day slavery, said one senior detective. The county line gang plot has been highlighted by major investigations that led to 714 arrests in Norfolk, my area. Officers detained 126 children, some as young as 12. So you imagine that, you know what I mean? Now you've got these people within your towns, within your cities, right? Enslaving these children, but no one's jumping out on them or holding them down. But you can go, but you know, you can talk to a child online, yeah, and say all them dirty things to him and all that and meet him for a fucking, you know, a rendezvous. But if it's a 12-year-old selling drugs and possibly being on drugs or going to overdose, and again, you can go to my forum, right? Wait there, back to my forum. like I said, my whole form deals with everything these people do. There's not one thing on here these people don't do. Look, kids killed by drugs, look, okay? Look, drugs in school, my own personal words on drugs, yeah, and you can read that yourselves. Look, 1 year's son died of drug overdose, and an 11-year-old boy who lives in the home tested positive for cocaine. 23-month-old baby, drug death. Do you know what I mean? Now, if these will get the satanic ritual abuse, yeah, now that's not, you know, again, we know that goes on, but that's not even took off. But these are real life stories, yeah, of children being killed by drugs. 13-year-old Doug. So I mean, all of these people here, every child I post about is, I think it's between the ages of 21 to a newborn baby, right? Yeah. So why ain't people jumping out on these drug dealers that are killing these kids? Isn't it about save the children, save the kids? Why is no one investigating? It's mad, isn't it? Because the people who control the narrative are the people that are controlling everything else. Do you know what I mean? And that's all to do with distractions. I mean, look, 10-year-old boy dies from fentanyl overdose. You know what I mean? Look, mother ran down and murdered on CCTV for 60 quid drug debt. Now, I know, again, I've got stories and I can't go into it, but, you know, they got knives up against pregnant women's babies. Do you know what I mean? Gives the money. Do you know what I mean? Knives against a pregnant girl's fucking belly. Do you know what I mean? Just to get the fucking drug debt. You know, they're turning up on mums and dads' doors, yeah, right? Because they're saying, oh, your son owes a substantial amount of money to us. If you don't, we're going to fucking do you. So pay it. And then the mums and the dads are going to the bank, drawing the money out and giving them. Why is no one doing fuck all about it within the communities? Why is that a big shh? Eh? When the drug dealers are the heart of your community. You know, they're your businessmen, and you know the ones that control the narrative within your community. Why ain't no one investigating them? Because the people who have got the narrative are the scary ones. Do you know what I mean? They can kill you. They can kill me. You know what I mean? They've got no problem with that. Do you know what I mean? Scary people. Look, 11-year-old cocaine overdose. 13-year-old dies. 14-year-old girl. 14-year-old girl. 14-year-old girl. These are all different girls, by the way. 15-year-old boy. 14-year-old girl. 14-year-old girl. 13-year-old boy. 14-year-old. 14, 15. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'll tell you how much they control the narrative on this, right? These people, right? Let me just go back there. Is that, look, on this one, look, right? Where is it? My own password. Yeah. Here you go. Read this one. Look. Heroin dealing granny draped a flag. Oh, that's not a flag. It's supposed to be flag over a coffin of a dead customer, then carried on selling drugs. This is how much people care about your kids. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's the thing with it. Why ain't no one saying nothing to this woman? Do you know why? Do you know why? It isn't because of her and the power she holds. It's because if you went after her, the police would protect her. Yeah? Because the police control them drugs. Do you know what I mean? Yeah? Within your community. Yeah? Again, I don't want to get into it all, you know, but again, and she's also protected by the people behind her, yeah, that control it in every town and city. Do you see what I mean? But the stories go on and on. Do you know what I mean? 8.3 kilo of heroin, look. But she then just carried on like nothing. But the thing is, you see, what you got to realise in your communities, yeah, is that these people are protected by the police. Do you know what I mean? And that's as simple as that. Or they're the smartest criminals on the planet, or the police are actually complicit in it, and we know they are. You know, I could show you, you know, evidence upon evidence the police are complicit in it within any town or city. It don't matter what it fucking is. Do you know what I mean? But look, Darren G, take a knife, not a life, yeah? Now look what they call him, look. See, look, it shows you're making progress and freaking folk out, Darren, when the old gangsters are using these tactics. Keep up the good work, Darren. Respect from Scotland, yeah? See, and the old gangsters are using the tactics by calling him a grass, by calling him a nonce, by calling him a rapist, anything, so people don't like him. Because he's saying no, I'm not having fucking drugs within the community. Choose a life, not a knife. Do you know what I mean? And then look, here we go, look, he's a solid geezer, not a nonce, yeah? You see what I mean? And again, look, I'll let you read them. See, he knows the ins and outs, and he calls out these, these gangsters, within the community, yeah? He knows who they are, what they are, yeah? Same as I do. I know who they are, what they are, where they drink, what they do, what businesses they own, and all you got to do is research it. Do you know what I mean? And once you get rid of these people, yeah, and oust them, yeah, but I don't know how you're going to do it, because they're the ones that can kill you. They're the ones that can send people around to fucking en masse to fucking, fucking get you. Do you know what I mean? What can you do? You know what I mean? Anyway, look, it's area live hundreds of maybe thousands somewhere of drug dealers. I live next to Darren, the bottom of the street. Police looking for speeding and no seat belts. Look, the phone over the road has crack and heroin all day. Do you see what I mean? See, in the comments, you're told by people, yeah, over and over again, who's responsible and what the police are fucking doing, which is basically fucking nothing. Look, there's hundreds, maybe thousands somewhere of drug dealers, yeah? I live next door to Darren, at the bottom of the street. Police looking for speeders, yeah, people who are speeding and no seatbelts. The phone over the road has crack and heroin in it all day, with dealers, you know what I mean? No, it's rats who either wasn't in the game when they were about jumping in the bandwagon, look, or like you say, he's trying to assassinate his character. And that's what Freemasons do. They assassinate your character. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't want you questioning it. Like me, what I'm saying here, anyone else was saying what I would say, they'd be shot and killed. I'm expecting it anyway, but the difference is they don't want a fucking, there would be a murder inquiry. And like I said, people sitting in a prison cell looking at a life with a conspiracy charge, they start fucking speaking like canaries, whether they're Freemasons or not. And like I said, the fucked Freemasons here don't want it landing right on their fucking doorstep. Do you know what I mean? Because they got to keep that good fucking, we're the best, we're the good charity and all that. You know what I mean? But that would shatter that illusion within seconds. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and they don't want that on their front doorstep, you know what I mean? Because that's what would happen. It would be on their doorstep, yeah? They'd be getting investigated and they'll all be grassing each other up, do you know what I mean? And obviously, the truthers, can come to Great Yarmouth from anywhere around the world, across the world, can come to Great Yarmouth, put their cameras right in front of their faces and say, are you responsible for killing Stuart McIntosh? Did you say this? And then play the recording. You know what I mean? Are you a pervert? Are you a nonce? Are you really a rapist? Do you know what I mean? All of that can be said right in their faces. Do you know what I mean? Crazy, mate. He's so right. The nonce and grass shouts are all for character assassination, used as bullying, even from husbands after beating their wives in Liverpool. You call police, you're grass. Well done, Darren. Keep on. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. Do you know what I mean? Look him up, Darren G. Do you know what I mean? He calls out all the drug dealers. Do you know what I mean? The thing is, the difference between me and Darren is that I don't fucking call them out or name them. He does. Do you know what I mean? He's braver than I am anyway. But, again, see, they don't like it. You know what I mean? This is the thing. And if they don't like it and you're talking that, they assassinate your character, and they make sure no one likes you or want to get on with you. Do you know what I mean? Or be associated with you. And the little scaredy cats and all the little fucking minions and all the rest of it follow suit, and they jump on the bandwagon and they go, oh, look at him, look at that, look at this. Like some of my, and I don't want to get into it, I'm not going to even go to mention it, some of the stuff, what I was just about to there, but, because I get carried away. But, again, the wife beating, like the beaters around here, there's a guy, yeah, he's dead now, yeah, one of my main gang stalkers, yeah, used to beat the shit out of his missus, do you know what I mean? Black eyes all the time, we're having to wear dark glasses and he's respected, do you know what I mean? And he was one of the ones in the pub, of course, yeah, killed loads of people with his heroin, you know what I mean? Fucking mad. Nothing, mate, these people. Look, as if he had some real success, it would be briefly mentioned openly, show another vile part of the true sickness deep at the core of the failed experiment of forced multiculturalism, and more importantly, dangerously for him, could actually expose the truth about some of the greedy and subversive cabals in our governments pay who unlawfully act to facilitate the jihad attacks on our kids through drugs and even some of their other crimes against the British public. We are being betrayed, and we are being betrayed by these people. Do you know what I mean? And I've shown you, some of them government officials, getting handed a bag, and a parcel, of drugs. Do you know what I mean? Because every town and city is not compromised by, by sniff. And I mean, you've got doctors, police, they're all on it. Do you know what I mean? Fucking, you'd be surprised who in on it, basically. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's compromising it. And the thing is, they're also on top of that, like I said, is that they're doing these wild parties where you don't even know there's parties, right? They're doing these parties, and then they're blackmailing the people that without that involved in these parties. You see what I mean? Look, I'll be amazed if the next of that. Yeah, it was horrible feeling. I'm going to wake up one day to a headline say he was killed. I hope I'm wrong, but that interview brought out a lot of hate towards people who no doubt want him dead. Keep safe, Darren. You know what I mean? Because that's what they do. Freemasons kill anyone that speaks up and don't keep shush. You know what I mean? Freemason want people to be shush, timid little profane shushers, yeah? And that's the thing. You've got all these people within your community that are corrupt criminals, and everyone keeps shush. And like I said, they buy a drink for 20 quid, hand a bag here, hand a little, as a free bag, mate, I'll lay that onto it. And it buys a lot of respect, do you know what I mean? And the thing I see is that some of the people that could, smash the living daylights out of some of these people, yeah, take that and look at them as respect. And I'm thinking, why? You should be the drug dealer, and he should be receiving the drugs from you, because you knocked the living shit out of him, but he ain't, because the drugs buy the respect and the people they've got behind them. Do you see what I mean? Crazy stuff. Anyway, I'll let you guys read some of this. Do you know what I mean? But as you can see, yeah, again, it's all about, yeah, and this is the people, just people in normal society that wouldn't talk out or express this in the normal, because people don't. They keep shh. You know what I mean? No, I don't think you're a nonce, so ignore them and keep up the good work, Darren. You know what I mean? Keep going straight, keep out of trouble, and pure wrong uns trying to stop him. See what I mean? And that's what they do. They try and stop you. Do you know what I mean? And this is what it's all about. You know what I mean? People that are truthers, regardless of who you are, what you are, you're going to get branded about something. Yeah, they're going to use the tactics what I've shown some of you. Yeah, like I said, read the stories in the vomit section, and that's what they're going to do with you. Do you know what I mean? But your worst enemy is your own mind. Look, drugs are the plague on our children. It's deliberately done. And it is deliberately done. It's done by the fucking Freemasons in government. Yeah. And like I said, them packages, again, it's in my videos, yeah. Packages with the square and cum piss was found, in drug raids. Do you know what I mean? By port authorities. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, more than likely, the profane person found it, but he wasn't meant to. Do you know what I mean? And that mistake happened, but all the drug packages had the square and compass on them. Do you know what I mean? Kilos. They're the ones. Who do you think was, in control of them planes that were flying out of Vietnam or whatever, where all the bodies, again, the undertakers, were all stuffed with drugs coming out of the, do you know what I mean? Where do you think that's all come from? It's deliberately done. Look, since the age of 6 until 16, I lived in a crime-ridden area full of drug dealers and gangsters, and I watched my brother get involved in a lot of violent shit through my youth. Do you see what I mean? And this is people. People are sick of it, but where do you go? Who do you talk to? Because you're branded a grass, and they come after you. And if you've got no one or anything to back you, what are you going to do? Nothing. Do you know what I mean? Because the people that control this town, this city, and every other town and city are fucking gangsters. They're your businessmen. They call themselves businessmen, See, again, look, He ain't a nonce. Do you know what I mean? This is what they do. They call you a nonce, call you a rapist, they call you a paedophile, they call you everything under the sun, so people don't like you. Do you know what I mean? And again, this is what he gets. He gets gang stalked and he gets harassed. Do you know what I mean? But I'll tell you one thing I did see. You see he's wearing his hat, don't you? And he was doing a warning to all the gangsters, right? And he did the Freemason where you grab your hat, right? I don't know what you call that. Hopefully the police watch this and start helping down rather than hinder him. They wouldn't help him. The police are part of it, the problem. You know what I mean? They're never ever going to investigate the drug lords because they're paid well to keep their mouth shut. Shh. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've got them standing toe to toe with career criminals. Fuck me. You know, you only got to listen to them talk on YouTube where they're standing with the police, you know, or just put in police and crime lords or police and, you know, they're all at it, you know what I mean? And they've bought the police, they bought the politicians, they bought everyone, do you know what I mean? And they've got the money to do that. But anyway, I see Jaron G, yeah, do the hat. And I've looked for the video again. I know I've got it. It's somewhere. Yeah, I've looked high and low for the video, right? And it's where he grabs the hat, and it's the penal sign of Freemasons. Yeah, because he knew that it was Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? What he was, you know, he's just calling out Freemasons basically. You know what I mean? But I couldn't fucking again. Only a total mug would believe the nonce bollocks. He's an inspirational figure of this world at the moment. Respect. Life, not a knife. That's it. Choose a knife. Choose a life, not a knife. I keep getting it backwards. So he turned on Liverpool's underground because he didn't like seeing kids ruin themselves with knives and drugs. Do you know what I mean? And he's trying to do something because he's trying to do something about it and speaking out. They're gang stalking him and defaming his name and his fucking, you know, character assassination on him. And that's what Freemasons do. You know what I mean? So they try and stitch you up. They go, he's a grass or this, so people don't listen to him. You know what I mean? They do not want people like Freemasons do not want people listening to this man, do you know what I mean? Because he's speaking the truth about him, do you know what I mean? So we watched the Darren G interviews, do you know what I mean? But that English and that other one, I can't remember his fucking name, they're both criminals anyway themselves, yeah? And that's why they get the interviews, because they're controlling the narrative, do you know what I mean? You know? Paedophile apologists, I don't know what I mean, and drug dealing apologists, I don't know what apologists mean. Not a nonce, not a grass, just a guy on a mission. That's it, you know what I mean? So there you go. Liverpool, just like Glasgow, full of people with many faces. And that's the thing. It's the ones that are faces and the popular ones, yeah? And a lot of the faces ain't fucking showing themselves, believe it. You just think, oh, they're respectable businessmen because they're quiet, you know, and you don't see them. But they're there, mate, you know what I mean? They're the ones fucking putting the drugs into your children, you know what I mean? And like round here, you know, I see whole families decimated by fucking drugs, do you know what I mean? You got mums and dads dealing to their kids, or the kids are dealing to the mums and the dads, do you know what I mean? You know, and you got kids like, you know, girls walking with their trolleys up to score their gear with the kid in the trolley at fucking night time, do you know what I mean? Shit like that, you won't believe it. But anyway, you can read most of these. I'll flick through these slowly because I'm going to end this here about this bits of gang stalking and that. But, you know, this is what they do, you know. And again, the gangs, yeah, the ones that are running the gang, regardless of who that fucking might be, yeah, the gangs don't realise the top echelon of the gang, yeah, what's controlling the gang are Freemasons, yeah. So say the top 10 guys are Freemasons, the rest of the gang are all fucking profane people, but they don't realise it's Freemasonry running it. They just go, oh, it's the boss, you know what I mean? Oh, fucking, you better not say nothing. You know, because they're all bouncers, you know, you do the research, they're all ex-bouncers or bouncers, you know, doormen, you know, what control the doors, that controls, let the drugs through the doors, you know. You can watch it all day long. They tell you who runs your town and who runs your fucking cities, do you know what I mean? And like I said, you might have a PM or a fucking MP in your town representing, supposed to be your town, but he's just representing that agenda that is called Freemasonry. Do you know what I mean? And then and each and every one of them is just backing up each other, so nothing's being said, you know, and that's all it is all the time. It's all about shh, don't say fuck all. Do you know what I mean? So that's why Savile got away with it for centuries. Do you know what I mean? So and this is where they get on the bandwagon. Look, you see spray paint painted all over the city, calling them a nonce. It said, lads, not a nonce. People are trying to trash his name, as he said, seems like a good lad to me. See what I mean? Now they've got them spraying, see, but the people that are doing the spraying would be influenced by the top drug lords. Do you know what I mean? But the people that are actually doing the spraying are the profane people that have jumped on the bandwagon and doing it just, you know, just to decimate. But they're doing the work again for the top echelons of the pyramid. Do you see what I mean? And that's what it's all about, you know. That it's making so-called drug lords nervous with, as he says, the knowledge he has from when he was in that game, you know. And that's the knowledge he had, and he does worry people because he can name and shame. Like, well, a bit like me, I can name and shame. I could show you. Well, I won't get into it, but that's the thing of it, you know, because these people go around like they're respectable. They're not got their faces on display. You know, I see a couple of them go in the paper, you know, as this, that and the other. I think, fucking, you know, I think, oh my God, you know, and the Mercury's famous for putting them people in the paper, you know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck, do you know what I mean? But by association, when you work it out and you put it to, you know, what's going on. Look, see, look, I'm from London, now he's describing Liverpool. It's actually the same shit here, and I imagine the same in all other cities in this is a problem that needs to be addressed. I'm supporting Darren all the way, but there you go. You see, everyone's got the support, but what do you do? And it is the same problem. It don't matter what it is. It's the same common denominator in all towns and cities. It's all run by a syndicate of people, yeah, well-established families or whatever that are running it. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, you ain't getting shit of it because they control it, and they control the police, they control the town halls, they control the city halls, and you ain't doing shit, you know what I mean? And like I said, you know, they're running it through, whether it's taxi firms or undertakers or whatever the fuck it is, they're all in on the game, do you know what I mean? It's all about shush, you know what I mean? So here, yeah, they call you a beast, a grass. Do you know what I mean? All that's character assassination. Do you know what I mean? Never tarnish a man's character. Keep on going, brother. Stay staunch. Do you know what I mean? Look, and never done a day's life in their total scumbag. Keep the chin up, down, respect to you, mate. You know what I mean? See, no morals, no respect. You know what I mean? And the thing is, a lot of these people that are respected, do you know what I mean, are just using the people around them. Do you know what I mean? And they're never touched, they're never arrested, they're never fuck all, because they, like I said, they're all in cahoots with each other, and that's all a syndicate. Like you go, you know, for instance, say like you got a group of 5 people that are dealing drugs, right, in the town, the main people, right? Now let's say they get investigated. The person who's the police in the police, and it only takes one, even though there's a bit more than that, obviously, right? But we'll just say there's one person in the police force. He knows they're now got to be investigated. He'll say to them, because they're brothers, he'll say, "Oh, shut yourself down. You're being investigated." They'll shut down and wouldn't even touch a drug or go near a drug because there's another person or another group of 5 people from the same lodge that then start up and take over where they left off. Do you see what I mean? And then they carry on, do you know what I mean? And they can do that all day long because there's a fucking big, like 80, 100 people in a fucking lodge, do you know what I mean? And they just keep passing it around all the time in the syndicate. And there's enough money to pay everyone, do you know what I mean? And there is, you know, and so long as your kids are on there, you know, paying them, that'll go on forever, you know. And like I said, the police are either as thick as shit in this town, yeah, or they're complicit in it. So what do you think? And that doesn't mean just my town, I'm on about all towns. He's no nonce and he's no snitch. Darren is a frustrated man trying to reform and promote a positive message for us all. But time and time again, the ugly head of the old establishment shows itself, and it does. Clearly displayed, the UK has no plans to reduce crime or help the youth. And there is no help to reduce the crime or the youth, because at the end of the day, when the shit hits the fan, the only people that are going to rise up, yeah, and be a gang controlling the gangs are going to be the Freemasons, yeah, and they're going to shove all of you profane people that are not prepared for it, yeah, because they've already got control of your kids. They started that in school. Do you know what I mean? They've already got control of your children and the way they're coming up. Do you know what I mean? And if you don't believe that, get out there and have a look. You know, they've already got the control of your kids, all of these gangsters. They control it already in the pubs, in the clubs, and fucking whatever else. They've already got the respect of your children. They've bought that by handing a £20 note. Yeah, I'll get yourself a drink, mate. And so your child think that person's respectable and good. Where you're sitting at home going, and they go, "Can I have some money?" You go, "No, I can't afford it." Do you know what I mean? So, do you see what I mean? This is what they do all the time because they can afford it. They got the money. They don't give a fuck. Like I said, to buy respect nowadays costs nothing. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know. I get frustrated because I know what they're doing, but trying to get that across to other people is an impossible task. Do you know what I mean? Don't believe the nonce claims it's the worst thing you can do is accuse someone of. So obviously some rats are going to use that claim to blacken your name. It's annoying me. Does anyone know the pic on his t-shirt after spending 2 hours trying to check a decent look at it? Oh, I don't know what that is. Second strike off, put me in paper. Yes. Yeah, look, been waiting for this all week, gone through much of the same. You can do it, bro. Please be safe. Someone must love you, and twats have set me up a smaller level than you had. Lancaster police, again, look, getting rats to get me a second strike off, put me in paper. Exaggerated, see, because the papers, they own the papers as well. Even though I've lost 3 houses, name them all, since he's saying that they are the snitch. But yeah, see what I mean? So it's the same thing, you know, and this is what they do. Like I said, it's all about character assassination, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, but again, look, right drugs and drug dealers are ruining every city in Britain. It's about time someone stood up and said enough is enough. No one's saying enough is enough because all the people that are running the drugs are all like boxers and fucking doormen and all the rest of it, and they fucking know that, and they're the respectable people owning businesses, and they've got all the money. Do you know what I mean? And you ain't going to investigate if you're a constable because you're going to lose your job. So you will keep shush. You see what I mean? And that's what it is. The whole system is all corrupt, and it's been corrupted by infiltration of Freemasonry. They know exactly what they're doing, and they make the hassle within your communities, yeah, and they stalk people and harass people and take people to their internal courts, do you know what I mean, and make them perjured individuals, do you know what I mean? And like I said, some of you people that are on drugs are more than likely on drugs paying for someone else's crimes that was done against them years ago or decades ago. Do you see what I mean? Through curses or whatever, you know, this is what they do, and they never forget, you know. Never. Society is broken due to drugs. Of course it is, because this is the thing, what society runs society. The whole society is run on drugs. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, as soon as you turn around and say, well, let's start drug testing the police, you can't do that. We're all respectable. You see what I mean? You can't, you know what I mean? It don't work. They wouldn't have it. You know, we all know the Met Office is all controlled by Freemasonry, but you go down there and say, you know, we're going to put a profane person working side by side with the Freemasons, or two profane people working with each Freemason, yeah, and keep an eye on them. They go, you can't do that. We're loyal. You know, we're honest police officers. You can't do that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's about. You know what I mean? That was the last picture there. But that's just, again, like I said, you know, gang stalkers I've helped, is it? Wait there, FG. Wait there. I think it's gang stalkers I've helped in it. I don't know where it is. It's here somewhere, but film signs. I don't know what the hell. Oh, so many people, you know. Yeah, drugs, you know what I mean? Look, more than that, he should have been recognised as an nonce. I'm shocked how many old school faces choose to ignore this fact. See what I mean? See what I mean? This is how they go. Look, Zarazuki, look, see? And then look, most people ask for drugs, even pay for them. Nobody asks to be abused, yeah? Because, again, I was fighting for, like, the drug geezers again, yeah? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, so it's something I was in an argument there, again, with drug dealers or something, I can't remember. I fucking have so many arguments with people. Well, on different platforms, that is. But I thought I was here somewhere. I'm just trying to see, and I don't think I have. I'll have to get it for you next time, yeah? But, like I said, I'm sure it was gang stalkers I've helped. I'm sure it was. Let me just see. Gang stalking, finding Great Yarmouth, Naughty, Cam Brewer. No, I thought if I had it here, I must have named it something else, or it's on my other one maybe. What's this one? Oh, Masonic scripts were off, where they slagged me off, obviously, but no, I don't know. Yeah, it's just kids and all that. But anyway, back to here, right? Again, look, this is what they do. Look, see, this is, look, you got to watch this. The murder of Brandy Vaughan. Yeah, right. I'll play a little bit.
One of the reasons I'm so excited to be here in front of you today is because I am among a very friendly crowd, a crowd that is fighting on the front lines of health in this country, trying to make this country a better place. And I'm among a lot of people who are probably called crazy as much as I am. And that's awesome, because you know what? We are crazy. We are crazy enough to think that we can change the world. And we need to. And we are going to be the ones who do it. Every single person in this room is here for a reason. We are the ones who have that mission, all of us. We are the army that this world needs so that we see better health and our children have a better world. In fact, this is why I'm here today.
And then again, look, and then it gets in, you know, a whistleblower. Oh, the link in bloody working as usual.
I'm crazy for this one.
But,
this is
yeah,
my
look
son.
it up, yeah?
And a lot of people say, Brandy, so you worked in pharma. They don't really like it when ex-employees speak out.
See, they don't like it when you speak out, right? And again, they killed her for it, you know, founder of vaccine safety website, ex-farmer inside, found dead. Do you know what I mean? And this is what they do. They kill you. They shush you up. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is why you've got to get in there early. Yeah, and I mean fucking early, you know, with anyone. If you want to know people, if people are betraying you or anything, get your tape recorder out. You know what I mean? And, you know, you'll soon find out. But you'll hear things you don't want to hear, trust me. But, again, I wouldn't go into it. But, anyway, that's another story. But, you know, this is the thing, you know. And, again, if you read it, you know, like she was killed, you know what I mean, out and out right. And this is what they do, you know, same as with JFK, do you know what I mean? Again, this woman here, right, yeah, they investigated her, right, because she said an MP abused her, right? Now, the MP, if you research into him, right, yeah, is a Freemason, right? Okay, again, it's the old Staffordshire police, if you know fucking, you know, if you know much about them, then you know exactly they're fucking corrupt and they're Freemasons, right? But the interesting thing here, again, look, she's called him here, look, he's a Freemason, right? But they try and swap it round, yeah? So it looks like she's the fucking, you know, like the persecutor. But again, look, what she said, look, watch this. This is the interest, look. Next step mentioned by the police have apparently not yet got into the stage of even interviewing me about perverting the cause of justice after 4 years of Mr. Hemingway alleging it. Yeah, so he alleged it. Yeah, 4 years ago, the police investigated it. She added that over the last 4 years, officers have had full access to all of my computers, devices, and anything they want, plus 150 hours of video interviews. If there was something to find, I'm sure they would have found it by now. Do you know what I mean? And then he served for the Liberal Democrats, the MPs and all that. But this is what they do. They try and use the police, do you know what I mean, to turn the tide and make the person that's, you know, the accuser look like the fucking is the accuser is the whatever, the perpetrator or something, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So yeah, but he's right on all, you know, and if you but if you read into him, he's a bloody Freemason. Do you know what I mean? And that's this is the thing about it. You know what I mean? But they don't say nothing about that in the paper. Don't mention the Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I forgot his name now. Look, if you go John Hemming, look, oh, like that, MP John Hemming, right? Yeah, copy. I'm now going to shut this. I'm nearly finished now, so. Because obviously I've done a good talk. I don't know how long I've been online for. You know me, I can chat for England, can't I? Because I'm so great. And then put Freemasons. Look, Freemasons. Bang. Here he is. Look, faces calls to resign for abusing parliamentary privileges. So he's already corrupt and criminalising. Yeah. You can obviously see I've already investigated him. But he is a Freemason, you know. Again, he's a politician, a businessman who served as a member of parliament for blah, blah, blah. But again, the family court judge must explain why pianist jailed, yeah. And here it goes, look, former Liberal Democrat MP John Henry says the man is on hunger strike in a prison hospital after being jailed for contempt of court by a family court. You see, he's right in with it all. Do you see what I mean? Every avenue. Oh yeah, councillor interest. Now he protests are lodged over a question of Freemasonry. Yeah, declared themselves as Freemasons. Tory Davis here, John Henry and Co. executive, and then this is where they go on about the, you know, and again John Wedger exposes the police. But this guy here is a Freemason. Do you know what I mean? Again, the vote is taken by Freemasons, do you know what I mean? But like I said, watch him, look him up, do you know what I mean? He's all over the bloody place, do you know what I mean? As a Freemason, do you know what I mean? But he, you know, again, he's just using a Masonic tactic on that poor girl, just to swing the tide on this woman that's accused him. You know what I mean? I mean, look at her face, yeah? She's devastated. And look at him, look, yeah, I'm all right, mate, because he still get the work and privileges of being a Freemason. So he's got no worries in the world. He knows he's protected by the police, by the courts, by the judges, by his MP mates, because they know if he goes down, he's going to speak like a canary. Do you know what I mean? Justice never served. Only the victims, look. And they'll persecute you all the time. And like I said, I've got an interview in a couple of days with a guy, yeah, who's been homeless, right? He's tried to get a home, you know, self-homed and that. But you listen to it again, how they smirk, you know, the people in the council, because again, this is all Freemasons, you know what I mean? But he's a victim. His dad was, you know, I don't want to go into it. He'll tell you his story himself. But his dad was a well-known, established civil servant within the town. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. And I don't want to say too much, so, you know, because obviously, you know, if I say who he is and what he is, they'll get onto him straight away, do you know what I mean? And obviously might shut down the bloody interview before I even get off the freaking ground. So, but anyway, my profane friends, remember I love you, and I'm going to shut it down now because you're so wonderful, do you know what I mean? And we'll get back onto this power here. Hello, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? On the go, you know what I mean? Jeremy, my man. You know what I mean, Jeremy? But anyway, like I said, just get on my wall. And like I said, this is the sticky pin post what's supposed to be at the top of my wall. Look, it's never there for anyone to read. Do you know why? Because there's so much Masonic corruption in there. Look, more drug dealing corruption. Look, you see? Freemasons and the mafia, yeah? And that's about, you know, this is where it goes on, you know, where the you know, the packages or the packets of drugs had the seal of the Masonic thingy. But this is all, it's all covens and witches and all the rest. So I leave the links anyway, you know, in there. But that's what I mean. You search it up, it's all in there. There's a Hampstead, look, Masonic Hampstead house. You know what I mean? It's all there, mate. You know what I mean? It's all corruption over and over again. You know what I mean? Look, all you got to do is go to here, look, right? Go like this, look. What's this? Drug packets, right? Masonic square and compass, right? Oh, I'll have to. Oh, it's got to spell it properly for me, innit? Look, Masonic square and compass with a packet of 54 printed Masonic square and compass serviettes. No, wait a minute. Wait there. Never come up when you want it. Do it. Drug packets. Wait there. Oh, it's gone funny again. Oh no, it's all right. I'll take the compass out, right? Drug packets, Masonic. Yeah, let's see if it come up like that. Hopefully. Look, Freemasons and the mob, how forging ties with lodges shaped the history, and that's what they are. They're just, they are the mob. You know what I mean? And this again, oh, I'll agree. I've got no choice, have I? Freaking minges. Right. Oh, I can't do it. But again, if you read it, and there is a link in somewhere on my forum, and I don't know why. View offer. What's that mean? I don't know what view no offer. I want that. I want the, yeah, there we go. Look, here, look. So, you little bugger. What happened there? Wait there. Like I said, I'm not very good with this. Right, view offer, and I'll screenshot it, I reckon. Right, go back, get ready. Look, right, look, we're stamped with the logo featuring an eye. Freemasonry. There is obviously you can get this better. I don't know what I'm doing on this little computer, but that's what you want. Look, Freemasons and the mob. Put that in. How forging ties with lodges shaped the history of crime, I suppose. Yeah, but there is a full one. You know what I mean? Look, and then again, look. See, I'm a Freemason who was born to sell drugs. Do you see what I mean? And this is Freemasonry. It's not, you see what I'm saying? I've got this is all in my forum anyway, do you know what I mean? When you just start selling drugs, why? And this is a Freemason, do you know what I mean? They're all fucking drug dealers, Once you learn it, and they're the murderers, they're the ones who are killing you, and doing all their different, all their different things. But anyway, you know what I mean? I'll let you go on, you know what I mean? Look, the Hampshire, Isle of Wight, yeah? Again, all connected with Freemasons. And where do corrupt criminals retire? The Isle of Wight, you know what I mean? Look, speed trap trips up drug dealers' brothers, do you know what I mean? 100 you're fucking crazy, man, do you know what I mean? Absolute, look, Masonic Model Student Assistant Program. Don't know what that is. Right, anyway, I'm going to stop it there, you know what I mean? Oh, hello, what's this? Penrith bomb scare at Masonic Lodge leads to appeal. When was this? 2020, look. Anyway, my profane friends, have a great day. I'm knackered. And I hope you liked the video. Have a great day, sugar puffs. And remember, I don't want to commit suicide. I do not want to be murdered. And I don't want to be sacrificed in a right ritual by Freemasons. My profane friends.